Good evening, everybody. Welcome to America's Third Party. You can reach us at AmericasThirdParty.com. That's right, home of the $400 per month per U.S. adult plan. To erase welfare, to get rid of funding for non-U.S. citizens that Donald and Hillary want to continue, to change the dimension of what it's like to get government money so you don't feel bad. Wall Street executives could get this $400 per month. You don't have to be anybody. You don't have to fill a 6-month form out. The whole idea would eliminate the bureaucracy. We would simply give every human being in America who wants to qualify, who is a U.S. citizen, not a green card holder, but a U.S. citizen, and who has their birth certificate, they would get this program. You would get an EBT card. We're going to use the same EBT system, but we're going to take and make sure that it's separate from Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley currently makes 6% on the EBT money that goes out. Can you imagine all the billions of dollars, the $80 billion a year that goes out to people on food stamps right now? $80 billion. So this is kind of an enlargement to about $400 billion. That's how much we're looking at. Because by eliminating welfare, we're going to bring the cost down. We will do this gradually, so that people will know that we're going to be phasing out welfare. They'll get a signed statement in the mail, and we'll explain this on television, that we're going to be phasing it out, but everybody should apply for a EBT card who wants to get that money. And we'd have a few months there to transition. Once you've got your EBT card, we'll give you $20 just to get started. And then we will stack up $400 on your monthly card every month. I don't care if you're rich or poor, it doesn't matter. Anybody would be able to get this as long as you're over 18 and a U.S. citizen can prove it. That's a great idea, isn't it? And automatically we take people off welfare at that point, once we're ready to go. You know, the plan helps people get through a life without starving to death. And there will be a lot of people who are non-U.S. citizens that won't get any money at all. And I'm concerned about that, so we will have lots of food at food banks, which is a lot cheaper than just giving people money. But the amount of money that we will incur for the first year won't be more than $400 billion total. When it all levels out, and that's a number I can live with. Especially considering the military consumes almost $1 trillion a year. Flying jets over my head, testing out heavy equipment that's already antiquated when it hits the tarmac. We're wasting so much money at such an alarming rate, all for this idea that we're going to somehow be strong in defense of our country, when our country's out there starting wars, not ending them. 2 wars still going on, Afghanistan and Iraq. You know the Iraq war is still going on, right? Just so you know. It didn't end. It's not over. So they want war to continue, and they want to even expand out the war front and keep this government running as a police state. That's why they've got a police state running this country. So that all of you know that this country is a police state and that we're the policemen for the world. Specifically, the world bankers, the ones that control the monetary system that all of us are drawing money out of. In God we trust, and more than likely in the Illuminati we put our trust. They're basically the underwriter of the entire monetary system. And we embedded them right in our government. Even though they're not part of our government, the Federal Reserve actually orders the printing of money, expansion of credit. They're destroying our nation, slowly turning us into debtor nation. And Donald Trump is a debt-aholic, and he loves debt. He'll do anything for debt. And he's bragged about it. He brags about how he's into debt. So, we're going to take a look at the reality that this third party could very well change the dynamic of politics in America.
For the morning so much. So you see kids out there getting
Some of those kids today.
Wow. Excuse me. I wanted to calm things down a little bit. Things were a little bit too excitable in the other show. We still have the $400 per month. Yeah. I moved into a different room. So I've been censored for the past 8 years by the media. I've run a couple of videos to get noticed. In 2008, I ran
it from you. He took it from all of you people who think you can vote for a man who can promise you change.
I did that in 2008. And I did this one in 2014.
Video. Then hang in with our show on a 6 to 9 basis whenever you want. Tune in because we're always there.
So I was trying to actually get noticed, but they won't even let me get noticed on that level. So now somebody just started playing our show a couple of days ago, our blackface videos on this network, which is exactly what I had hoped people would do. It took, 2 years for them to start doing that? No, I'm not racist at all. In fact, this is called freedom of speech. You've got a black president that's ruining your country. I have the right to impersonate that black president in blackface. And if you think I don't have that right, then you're living in a different country, because that right is protected by the freedom of speech under the First Amendment. No, it's not racist at all. You're racist for calling me racist, for simply impersonating a black president. You're trying to take away my freedom of speech. You need to get out of my country because you don't belong here. Blackface lives matter. Yes, thank you. Thank you for letting me have the right to be tasteless. I also have the right to broadcast every night, despite the censorship that's been going on. No, I am important, and I'm getting more important worldwide because the American people are going, oh, really? My relatives know more about this guy. You say he's running a third party and he's been censored? Oh, wow, okay, thank you for sharing. And they're getting calls from their family members to write my name in. They're getting people say, oh, yes, David's a very, he will not ID Muslims, but he is concerned about radical Muslims. I'm the closest thing you've got to Aldous Huxley in America right now. Just saying. The author of The Brave New World. My family settled this country. My Native American roots, the Algonquin tribe, settled this country. My English ancestors that had relations with the Algonquin grandmother.
This is Aldous Huxley, a man haunted by a vision of hell on earth. A searing social critic, Mr. Huxley, 27 years ago, wrote Brave New World, a novel that predicted that someday the entire world would live under a frightful dictatorship. Today, Mr. Huxley says that his fictional world of horror is probably just around the corner for all of us. We'll find out why in a moment.
All right. I have Native American roots, yes. I didn't in any way say I was Native American when I applied for colleges, therefore, I don't believe that I'm Native American. But I do recognize the importance of Native American rights, and recently the problems up in North Dakota could be minimized, but with good communication and a strong environmental policy. If we had a leader, we wouldn't have people being arrested with almost a police state forming in North Dakota now over the environmental abuse of pipeline operations. Now, a genetically modified child, a baby born with the DNA from 3 different people is being experimented. This is absolutely insane that they would even begin to think that this is what's happening. Yeah. Fire in the chat room. But this is possible. Natural News has this story. U.S. scientists recently announced the birth of a baby containing DNA from 3 different people in an article in New Scientists. They will represent the details of the new procedure they used at the October meeting of the American Society for Reproductive Medicine. This procedure, which is illegal in the United States, was performed in Mexico. It was called threesome sex, and everybody was involved. Yeah, genetically modified human. I'm against it. You're going to need a backup server? Okay, thanks for sharing. Hillary Clinton's body count. Lemon Moon has a story here.
This is Titus Frost, spitting truth, causing glitches in the Matrix. Welcome to the Hillary and Bill Clinton body count documentary. In this video, we're going to discuss the 114 people the Clintons have killed to keep quiet.
This is cool. Thank you. I didn't realize that it was up to 114. And now we're finding out from Scissor Fights that the FBI director do look at that video tonight. We'll be playing it in the after hours after 9:30. But if you want to Google the Clinton body count, it'll really reveal at least 56. I didn't realize there's 114 now. That'll be interesting reading or watching. FBI Director Comey took millions from the Clinton Foundation defense contractor. Wow. Is anyone surprised by this corruption when FBI Director James Comey says the organization would not be seeking to bring charges against Hillary Clinton over her illegal email server? Anyone paying attention knew there was a deep level of corruption. Now it's been made clear. James Comey received millions of dollars from the corrupt Clinton Foundation and his brother's law firm. Also does the Clintons' taxes. Wow. According to a letter sent by 200 Republicans who stated Clinton clearly placed our nation's secrets in peril, Comey was asked why he would not bring charges against her. No one is above the law, and the American people deserve a more robust explanation for your decision to not recommend criminal charges. Apparently this guy's been hiding all kinds of money. We know he's got $14 million in his bank account. I mean, the bottom line is the American people have nobody to represent them. They just don't. Hillary's not going to represent you. Trump is not going to represent you. You don't have anybody right now lobbying for you in Congress. I mean, I don't even understand why you don't realize the necessity and the need for this third party. A lot of you are still like, well, who should I vote for, Dave? Hillary or Donald? Neither. What do you think I've been doing on a daily basis? Trying to make you understand the corruption runs deep inside of that problem, that paradigm. The corruption is at the very heart of the problem. Donald Trump doesn't want a flat tax. A lot of people believe that a flat tax will save this country a tremendous amount. We won't have to pay the IRS. We could dissolve the IRS. We could get rid of all tax deductions and tax credits that the rich use and lobbyists maneuver to get these rich people, their tax credits. We get a basic 10% from everybody above 100,000. You make less than 100,000, we don't want your money. But Donald wants to tax everybody, including 1% for everyone here. He doesn't want anyone to get away with a tax machine. He's no different than the Democrats. Flat tax is a very, very progressive tax, especially with I believe the graduated flat tax, where it only kicks in at 100,000. Brings money in. For instance, I'll explain monkey times. You're a European investor. No, you're a U.S. company, and you've been investing in Luxembourg because you want to avoid that 34% on your income, international income. You'll want to come here because it's only 10%. And if you can make 100,000 without taxes, that's another incentive to get started here. So it'll bring investment into America. Big difference. Yeah, I saw that Hillary Clinton wanted to launch a drone strike against Julian Assange, and that's breaking news. But we had other breaking news that's even more important early on in the show. The Pentagon was caught paying a PR firm $540 million to make fake terrorist videos, to control your mind, to make you think that ISIS was taking over. This is a really good link that was sent to us by Scissor Fight earlier. You can check that out right now. They're willing to convert you into believing that the terror threat is so real that we have to start another war in Syria. I would argue that Barack Obama, if you don't understand the parody behind my videos, and you can see all my videos at my YouTube site, I'll give you the link. If you don't understand the parody behind the work I did, which I think is great, then ask yourself, what gives Barack Obama the right to talk like a white man? Okay? Well, let's be clear. We're working on that. Okay. Yeah. What gives Barack Obama, I'll tell you what gives Barack Obama the right to talk like a white man. Freedom of speech. So if you accuse me of being a racist, but all I do is simply I'll calling you, I'll asking you a question. Just talking like that make you think You're saying that I don't have freedom of speech. I can't talk like a black man. I'm not allowed to be free in a country that's free. You're an absolute idiot if you think that our freedom of speech is going to take a backstage to this election. Look what Donald Trump has done. He's created a minefield of hate, and he's terrorized the entire nation with his flip-flopping back and forth. First he's a birther, then now he's not. He believes that Barack Obama was born in the U.S. I mean, what a joke. He's a mockery of himself. And he's using 10 of my ideas to manipulate the Republican Party. What are those ideas, huh, David? I don't know. We're gonna turn off anyone who comes in here trying to hook up. You're gonna get pulled out of this show immediately. Yeah, I'll give you those ideas. We have them right here. We have a list of them. These are the ideas that were taken. And more recently, he took my 24-hour chat line at the White House. Yeah, so he's listening to our show right now. We probably have Eric in the show right now. Hey, Eric, how are you? What did it feel like to shoot an exotic animal that was on the endangered species list? Did it make you feel like a man, Eric? Blowing away that leopard that didn't deserve to have a bullet in its head? Eric Trump and his dad go out shooting, killing exotic animals. It's sad, really. It's not something I in any way encourage. Well, we'll pull the guest chat off, but you got to understand, if they have this strategy of taking our guest chat off, the goal is to shut down guest chat, which means that people want to communicate. But what happened was some freak out there, we know who it is, pushed our name out there in one of these sex perv sites. I think they call it 4th Channel or something. Yeah. I can't control it, so we will bring in guest chat as soon as the pervs go elsewhere to start posting their information. Is it called 4chan? I don't know. I don't frequent places like that. Yeah, well, they can go out of the local bathroom and hit up on some bag person for all I care, but coming in my room is not something I really want you to do. Ed, I did listen to you. You brought me a story about Trump. I don't need to have stories about Trump. Unless they're real negative about how he won't post his tax returns, and when they did see a leaked document from 1995 showing he lost nearly $1 billion that year, which means that he didn't have to pay taxes for the following 18 years, based on expert testimony. So Donald Trump won't release the past 20 years, but he will definitely have to answer to the 1995 alleged release of his tax returns from that year. This guy's been losing money hand over fist. And now he claims he's making money, but he's $640 million in debt. Now that's a liability that could be a national security risk for our country, I think. Okay, in the news today, State Attorney General orders Trump's foundation to cease raising money in New York. All right, so this is serious. State Attorney. He spoke about national defense in front of retired military personnel, but he's been called in. They lack the certification required for charities that solicit money. This guy runs a flim-flam operation to pull money in. Remember when the media had to suggest, Donald, you did say you were going to take $6 million of that money that was dedicated to the vets and give it to him. He was like livid about all the press was picking on him, when he himself said that money was going to the vets and it never arrived until he was forced to do it. Which is, by the way, a violation of FEC law to have a campaign convention and solicit charity at the same time, under the same header. So he already committed a couple of federal election violations. He made $63 million last quarter, didn't ever report that. He hasn't shown where that money is being spent. For all we know, it's interest on the debt he owes. In fact, $63 million is about 10% interest on $640 million in debt. So if he's made an interest payment with the money he got donated to him for his election, that would explain why he doesn't have any TV spots on TV right now. Isn't that interesting? And what's even more interesting is, I don't know about you, but there are no Clinton signs in my area. And I'm in a predominantly Democratic area. It's like 53% Democrats, 47% Republicans in that mix. But it's really more like 33% Democrats, 29% Republicans, and 20% independent. And 5% that don't even know what a vote means. It seems like he is a shady businessman. And Trump's tax mystery points to another telltale sign of a missing. Trump's tax mystery points toward the dealings around his first bankruptcies. Yeah, so people are starting to look a little closer, the fine-tooth comb at the Trumpster, and they're beginning to realize this guy has been playing games, borrowing money, and working with the mob, the Russian mob. I know, the implications are there. The truth, the facts to back those implications up are there. The fact that you Trump supporters still support this guy is really disgusting, because you don't realize that people get to the top of the heap like this by lying. This is how they become Trump and Hillary. So we've got the worst possible people running for president right now. So yeah, your vote does and should count, for sure. But it certainly hasn't counted. Yeah, your past election votes have been a waste of your vote. You've gotten the same old people, the Democrat, Republican, they're going to do the same thing. Because they are owned. And that brings me to the Conspiracy Monday topic. How the elitists buy our politicians and are planning on getting rid of us. Calling it depopulation. A lot of you think the world's too crowded, even though America's not that crowded. Well, gladly, we don't have a lot of people. But if you let Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton get their way, they'll bring refugees in like crazy. You get Donald his way, he'll be running around goose-stepping and IDing people. Everybody will be called a Muslim. And they'll be having forced deportations at our border. I mean, this guy sounds and acts just like a Nazi. So you got a real tough election this year. So I'm asking you to write in David Sponheim in this upcoming election. If we reach 25,000 votes in any one state, they have to count them. And if we get 400,000 in a state like Rhode Island, it could be a big switch in the election. We could see a major shift. And we can be reached at AmericasThirdParty.com. You don't have to capitalize it. You can just spell it any which way you want. We have an ongoing show every day. We're publishing our FEC quarterly report coming up this week. We do this on a nightly basis. We can talk and be transparent with the American people. Yeah, but I'm not really making a point about one electoral vote. I'm making a point about a shift, a paradigm shift in our political environment, where you as a voter really don't have anybody to vote for right now. So that's why I'm throwing my name out there. I was the first guy to get my name in the hat there as a write-in candidate. I think I applied the next day after the 2012 election. In 1995, Donald Trump was in the midst of a spending spree. He'd recently bought a 727 jet for personal use, added a skyscraper to his Manhattan real estate portfolio, and stacked up Florida properties, or Colorado properties and Florida properties. That same year, he said he had a negative $916 million in federal adjusted gross income. Wow. See, that's the problem. Now, unlike every major presidential nominee for the past 40 years, Trump has declined to release his tax returns. This 95 document offers the most penetrating information yet about Trump's personal finances and revived long-standing questions about his business practices. And this is Donald Trump's statement. He says, I have a responsibility to pay as little tax as legally possible. That's his responsibility. So as president, he'll have a responsibility to do as little as possible to help the American people. So a guy like this who's willing to shirk his tax liabilities is bound to be, I'm sure he will sue the New York Times. This guy's got way too many lawsuits already. And he's going to get a major lawsuit coming right back at him with this Trump University thing. It's coming up November 8th, he'll have to be in a court to answer to the university scam that they say he did. Yeah. All right, so this news came up. It pops up all the time. Danny says he's Bill Clinton's lost illegitimate black son. Danny Williams claims he's the biological son of former President Bill Clinton. What an evil web they weave. Okay, a recent resurfaced sex allegation could be the Clintons' biggest nightmare, as Hillary Clinton faces potential criminal charges during an FBI probe of her illegal use of home email servers. Well, that didn't really work out. Political circuits are hearing the most. Insiders are digging up more dirt, and they found this guy. Yeah, he does kind of look like Bill. There's the mother. Reportedly, Bill had an affair with a prostitute in Little Rock. Her name is Bobby Ann Williams, and she, along with her family, have passed multiple lie detector tests when asked if Clinton is the father of her illegitimate son, Danny. I don't know. She passed her lie detector test, lone patriot. Every one of them. Okay. Yeah, the ultimate transparent candidate is live streaming with you right now. And they do it all the time. I'm a regular here. You can talk to me every night. I don't make any changes in that schedule, too. We're pretty much on it like a clock. Fukushima nuclear radiation has affected our whole Pacific Ocean, and it's just the start. Here's another story. Thanks. Wow. I've been talking about the endless death of sea life along the coastline, California, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, and nobody seems to care. Yeah. Kim Kardashian was robbed at gunpoint. Okay, thanks. Let's talk about Fukushima before we talk about Kim Kardashian, okay? Thanks. Most people believe Chernobyl in the Ukraine was the worst disaster or most dangerous nuclear disaster in history. But they're totally wrong on this. In 2011, an earthquake created tsunami that caused meltdown in the Fukushima nuclear reactor in Japan may very well be the worst. Yes, you are the father, William Jefferson Williams, Danny Williams' father. Yeah, well, the fact is, the Clintons never wanted to be a part of his life, and apparently they claim that Hillary has banished them, that they can't get through to the Clintons at all. And then there's the trail of Arkanside bodies. Yes, you're right. Okay, let's talk about it. It's estimated the Fukushima nuclear reactor continues to leak 250 to 300 tons of radioactive waste in the Pacific Ocean every day since 2011. Now, I did the math, and that's the equivalent of 6 large swimming pools every day of radiated water go into the Pacific Ocean. This is radiated with plutonium, isotopes, uranium, cesium. They call it corium because it's from the core itself, the core reactor. Corium is dropping into the ocean. So we're on the track for extinction. Our entire species is on track for extinction. While you sit and wonder whether, Bill or Hillary, Hillary or Donald are the best choices for the election, none of them have mentioned Fukushima. I'm the only guy that talks about it. I care. That's right. I care about the beautiful ocean that I grew up in. I used to swim in the Pacific Ocean as a child. I was a beach bum out there in the... Yeah, it was like Surf Central out there in California when I was growing up. It was beach blanket bingo every day. Alrighty, let me move that out of the way and bring you a sample of what beach was like when I was a kid. Party, dude. Oh, my beach blanket bingo's gone from here. Bummer. Okay, we'll go back to the other screen. It's a tiny Dave. All right. Okay, now you want to talk about the Kim Kardashian story, since we touched on Okay. We touched on the story of Fukushima. There's not much we can do. They're still not able to fix it. I've got a plan to fix it. I'd love to talk about it, but I'd rather talk about conspiracies of sorts. Now, one of the conspiracies is that they actually created the Fukushima reactor to punish Japan for not agreeing with the IMF terms. Isn't that interesting? They can create earthquakes now. They can create earthquakes that can trigger tsunamis. Tsunamis predictably are going to shut down a nuclear reactor. If the elitists are that sick, they would have a plan to depopulate our country, right? Or the world. So it does kind of jive with the idea that maybe they did that. They triggered the earthquake in Japan that led to the tsunami, that led to the Fukushima crisis. Because they want to get rid of 90% of the population. Is it quake in New Zealand? Yeah. Okay, this just in. Kim Kardashian experienced result of strict gun control in Paris. Armed robbers disguised as police officers accosted gun control proponent Kim Kardashian in a French apartment early Monday morning, making off with more than $10 million in jewelry, according to reports. Wow. Well, I can show you proof of earthquakes being caused by HAARP, if you'd like me to. Okay, rednecks drive through the BLM protesters and blast thugs with nasty surprise right to the face. Okay. Robbed by fake cops, yeah. That was not much of a story. Ugly scenes of violence continue to emerge across America as violent thugs take to the streets, destroying their... Now, you know, this is propaganda. You know, the whole thing is to constantly make everybody fearful. I'm not going to play into that. A man yells Bill Clinton is a rapist on live TV as a Fox News anchor looks on and laughs. Really?
I've been waiting for this segment all morning long. We are rolling out the red carpet, not for Tucker, but for some adorable, adoptable dogs. Every year, the Best Friends Animal Society helps cats and dogs who are stuck in animal shelters find homes.
Bill Clinton is a rapist.
We've got a very exciting...
Boy, these people are so transparent and mindless that they would absolutely laugh at that. They don't even care. They don't even care that Bill Clinton has a history of manipulating women, and he's been looked at by courts, indicted, but never ever tried, except in the Monica Lewinsky case where a grand jury had to have him drop his drawers to verify that he had sex in the White House. Because Monica knew something unusual about his penis that only the grand jury would know if they saw him drop his drawers. Well, it turns out we've got a president just like Bill Clinton right now, Barack Obama, who's actually an open homosexual. If you didn't know, Barack Obama was gay. Am I the first person to tell you that? I'm sorry I have to be the bearer of bad news. But worse than that, he is married to a transgender. And if you think that's a joke, then I guess you could laugh with the newscast of talking about Bill Clinton being a rapist. But there was a reason why Michael, or Michelle, as some people call him, there's a reason why these people are so powerful. It's because they're willing to do things for money. They're willing to do things for money. That's why Barack Obama got a free ride to the White House. That's why it's okay that he's a homosexual. That's why he's married to a transgender and nobody can ask questions. I was the first time I've ever told you that Michael was a transgender. It's not something that's shocking to a lot of people, but I think these are the stories that are getting covered up. And people like Joan Rivers went out of her way to talk about it, and she died a month and a half later. What looks like a suspicious killing. Yeah, she's physically built like a man. Oh yeah. If you're not convinced of that, let me at least play a little video for you, and I'll show you why I believe that Michelle and Barack are just as bad as Bill and Hillary. And then we'll get on to talking about how bad Trump is. Oh, wrong excerpt, sorry. That was an excerpt from Larry Sinclair, his gay lover. No, she wasn't joking.
Do you think that the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Have you had enough? I mean, that was enough to get me convinced of it, yeah. The Winky was flogging around, yeah. You saw it. So let's cut the crap, okay? We got a tranny for a first lady, and we got a gay president who's probably also a Muslim. And our country is owned right now by the Illuminati, who run the Democratic and Republican Party. And the only thing preventing us from actually building this third party is the censorship. We expected some media attention. We never expected to be blocked out for 8 years. Yeah. So it's seriously happening in America, and we're seeing people around the world listen to this show, watch this from other locations, because we're being telecast on UHF channels around the globe. And they're concerned. And they're wondering why they can't come in and talk. So I have to open up guest chat and hope that we don't get attacked by people dropping their email addresses. And check this out, okay. So these people laughing at Bill Clinton being a rapist, the entire bubble-headed, bleach blonde idiot people out there that are running their mouth off. What am I looking at? Justin Trudeau shaking hands with Obama wearing a yarmulke. Oh, there you go. Here he is. He'll do whatever people tell him to do because he's a money whore. Your president is a money whore. I'm sure he has Cayman Island accounts that have maxed out in every direction. Plus, he's made $10 million per year as president. Reported income. So he's got way more money than that. Boy, it's like a nonstop. It's almost like the hordes of the Walking Dead coming into our show while we're trying to conduct a show. It's just unbelievable. See what I mean? And this is an attempt to shut down guest chat. So when people want to come in here and talk and do guest chat, they can't. Because they're being interrupted by... Yeah, so these people that have been president and vice president for so long have been money whores. Okay, you didn't realize that? I'm glad I shared that with you. Okay, we can move on now. This is not that difficult of a show to deal with. I mean, at the very crux of this whole thing is money. Why would they do that? Because they're money whores. Your congressmen like money. They'll do whatever they can to get more money. And they're easily bought, too. they are like cheap dime hookers. $5,000 in donations from any one corporation will buy their favor. So we've got a Congress that does these things for payback. It's a payback Congress that does it only to the people that get them money. You don't pay them any money. You don't get anything as a result of that. You see how simple the world has become? It's not about you speaking out about something because you don't have a voice. You're nothing. You're an average American. They'll censor you like they did me for 8 years. So if you don't have the money, you can't pay the price. So that's what we're dealing with here. A country led and run by money. The almighty dollar, and then you get the most greedy people running as presidential candidates right now. So I'm going to play you a little bit of the interview that Larry Sinclair had about his time with Barack Obama when they were snorting coke or crack or whatever. And I'll be right back. Check this out.
The limo driver picked me up. He said he had a friend. We drove into Chicago. I was staying out on the outskirts of Chicago in Gurnee, Illinois. Pull up on the street in front of this club. He gets out, opens the door on the driver's side.
Uh-huh.
A gentleman standing there, and he introduces the guy straight out as Barack Obama. You know, and he puts his hand out, shakes his hand. We go into the club and start talking. We spend a little bit of time drinking. I had made the comment that I could use a line, and of course he turned around and asked me if I was referring to Coke, and I said yes. He said that he could help. He made a phone call. We leave. We're driving around for about 30, 45 minutes. We stop. I give him $250. He gets out, comes back, hands me an 8-ball of Coke.
Wow.
I take off a CD tray that I had a CD in the back of the limo that I had brought with me from Colorado. Rest it on his knee, start to prepare to do a line of Coke. In the process, you know, I'm straight up. I've been gay all my life. You know, you kind of feel your way around. There was something about him that told me that, you know, this was something that I wasn't going to end up having to fight back on. So as I'm doing a line, I start to actually touch him up around his, you know, his crotch area, which apparently was not a problem to him. It moves forward. He actually undoes his pants. I don't want to get too graphic on the air.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. But it led to oral sex. But in the process, he reaches into his right pocket and pulls out a glass cylinder pipe and crack cocaine, and literally starts to smoke a crack cocaine rock right there in the car in the process.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, this goes on for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. The details in the book are very specific. They have been, like I said, I'm getting a little leery on how graphic to get on radio anymore.
Sure. No, please, you know, you can be explicitly honest with us. Obviously, we can't swear, but aside from that, as long as it's factually accurate, go with it.
Okay. I mean, I performed oral sex on him, and like I said, this was something that he did not resist. In fact, he, you know, was more than willing to engage in it. He was the one that actually unbuckled his pants and actually, you know, pulled them down below his knees in the process. In the meantime, I'm still snorting coke. He's smoking rock. We're drinking. I mean, it was no big deal. It was something that in 1999 I tend to do a lot of.
Uh-huh.
We ended up calling it a night. The driver suggested that he take me back to the hotel and then drop Barack off. He said that would work better for him. I didn't have a problem with that. You know, I get back to the hotel, you know, say goodnight, tell him, you know, it's been fun. The next day, Sunday, I get a knock on my hotel room door, and it's Barack Obama standing there. And I invite him in. He brings more Coke, which I had told him that I still had some from the night before. But he makes it clear that he came back because he wanted oral sex again, which I performed on him in the hotel room in Gurnee, Illinois. Again, more drug use on both parts. He left. The following morning, I flew out of Chicago back to Colorado Springs.
And that is absolutely uncalled for. I'm sharing some very important, intimate experiences that Larry Sinclair had when he was smoking crack with Obama in a limousine. And you have the audacity to come in here and post a picture of a potato that looks like a penis. You see why people don't take you seriously, Ann? Yeah. The least you could do is take this whole story of Larry Sinclair seriously. Now, Barack Obama never filed a lawsuit against Larry Sinclair. Larry Sinclair passed a lie detector test with 99% certainty. Oh my God, you got a picture of Ann? Are you serious? Wow, that's rare. Dude, I didn't realize you were like a migrant worker. No, Larry Sinclair is not a typical liar. He actually passed a lie detector test with 99% certainty. Most typical liars don't pass lie detector tests. Ergo the word lie detector. Words. It's funny how everyone who lies gets popular and everyone who tells the truth is a psycho. As evinced by this picture. Good point. Thank you, Scissor Fight. You're definitely on track with that. You know, they want to make every person who's a truth seeker, who questions 9/11, out to be a whack job. Donald Trump will not say that 9/11 was an inside job. You know why? Because his friend Larry Silverstein, thank you. Larry Silverstein was the owner of those buildings. He just recently bought them and he took out terrorism insurance and he made $5 billion back in insurance funds. How do you get money for a terrorist strike? Ask Larry Silverstein, Donald Trump's friend. No, you got to understand, Lone Patriot, you're starting to get on my nerves. If you really understood that you were a conservative, you would be saying, yeah, you're right. Barack Obama is a homosexual married to a transgender. But you don't even understand that. You're so out of it. Kind of like Donald Trump, who now thinks that Barack Obama was born in the United States, even though he has no document to prove it. Amazing. So my plan will be to prosecute Barack Obama. That is a plan that I will put in place. And we will make sure that this guy serves some time, and we will completely remove his signature from every document he's put on every executive order, every act, especially the Affordable Health Care Act. It'll be pulled off, giving Congress 6 weeks to come up with another signature on their end before they put in front of my desk, and we have to deal with it.
But the park is still flooded, so you'll see kids out there getting
Some of those kids today will be my co-hosts.
It's just like, dude, you got the best barrel ever, dude. Just like you pull in, you just spit right out of boom. Spit right out of boom. You just drop in, just smack the lip. And then after that, you just drop in, drop down, snap, drop down, snap, ride the barrel and get paid in. Ride the barrel and get ride the barrel and get paid in. So paid in. Ride the barrel and get paid in. Ride the barrel and get ride the barrel and get paid in. So paid in.
So people are so brain dead that they're like that surfer. That's how brain dead our culture has become. Ride the barrel, get pitted. Tubular, dude. I mean, this is how sad our country has really become. We've become a great nation of mindless lemmings. Yeah. And then you got the big lemming at the top of the pile of lemmings, like Donald Trump, who wants to blame it on Saudi Arabia, the one country that's been trading with us and helping our gas prices remain low. He wants to target Saudi Arabia, which is absurd. Now, I never thought I would agree that we should definitely prevent a review of other countries, but Barack Obama tried to stop looking into the 28-page document. I never thought that would be a good move, but when you think about it, it hasn't been vetted. No one's ever verified that Saudi Arabia was involved with the attack on 9/11. So when Barack Obama did that, he actually put the brakes on it for a while, but then a court overturned that. So they're still going to pursue Saudi Arabia as the perpetrator. When in reality, we need to look at the possibility that America itself wanted that event to happen. That the leaders, the shadow government from within our country, wanted that event to happen. Oh, Randy, I've got something better than that. I've got a purge function that'll turn into a mute function in just a second. I just showed you Michelle Obama's penis dangling in a dance video on Ellen DeGeneres. And you're saying I have no document to prove that Michelle is a dude. I do have a document. It's called a video picture of the dude dancing with his penis flailing around. God. It's not a pantful. Do you want to watch it again? Some of you people are blind. I'll call her out anytime I want.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman
We already
president?
have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
I played it twice. You see it. The thing is a flopping. You can see it there. I'm not playing any gay stuff. And you just sent me a picture of a potato that looked like a penis. Come on. You, of all people, shouldn't talk like that. Well, you saw something moving around in the white pants. You know it was the length of a penis. You could see that. Play it again. Play it again, Sam. Here's looking at you, sweetheart. Can we move on, please? Thank you. Do I have to draw you a picture? Do you want me to slow it down frame by frame and show you where the penis is touching the flimsy pant leg? Well, I'm focusing on the fact that you got a tranny for a first lady and a homosexual Muslim for a president. I think that would be a good starting point for Conspiracy Monday, but we can't even get the show off the ground here. We've already talked about Bill Clinton and his dicking bimbos. Yeah, that's what Colin Powell said in an email that was hacked a couple weeks ago. And on top of that, while you sit and flounder and go, oh, I don't know, maybe Donald or maybe Hillary, they're building massive amounts of FEMA camps. Dave Hodges is talking about this on his site, commonsenseshow.com. Yeah. They're still building these. FEMA camp construction is greatly increasing right now. Here in La Junta, Colorado, a closed Walmart is installing enhanced security. A new Walmart supercenter has been opened walking distance away. A pickle factory has allegedly been converted into a brewery, yet the brewery is on railroad tracks and has blacked out windows. They have hired nobody, have constructed barriers and SUVs around with tinted windows, and this brewery within walking distance of the closed Walmart. All this is taking place in a small town which has experienced a failed economy and many businesses are closed. The picture above depicts military vehicles being stored at the closed Walmart. This type of thing is going on all over the country right now. So they're quickly getting ready for a martial law scenario. While you sit there and decide whether you want Tweedledee or Tweedledum. And you think your vote would be a waste if you voted for a third party. You see what we're dealing with here? And thanks to Dave Hodges, he's actually talking about, there's one FEMA camp located in Texas here. These are detention centers that will be used to house the American people. And you notice the fencing is all on the inside, facing in, so you can't get out. Well, this is a reality that many of you have been hiding for the past eight years. You don't want to admit the fact that we've got over 804 FEMA camps in the country that could very well be used against the American people. This is serious stuff. You can't get over a fence like that. That's impossible. Once you're in a FEMA camp, you can't get out. Let's ask some of the dead Jews and the ethnic minorities that died in Treblinka and Dachau and Auschwitz, okay? Let's see if we can get them on the phone. Is there a number I can dial to talk to some dead Jewish people that experienced the Holocaust? 1-800-HolocaustSurvivor.com. No, you can't talk to dead people because they're all dead. They're not going to give you any testimony, but the Simon Wiesenthal Institute gave you ample proof that this happened. They're still on it. They're still trying this plan. They got shills like Alex Jones. They got shills like Alex Jones running their mouth off. So he's so discredited now that he did that alcoholic announcement when he was drinking and running his show.
He knows he's on the wrong side of history. He better do it. Thank you, Scott. Michael in Texas, that's it for calls. Oh, you got 100 more, but that's it. Michael, go ahead. You're on the air worldwide.
And I follow every word that comes out of your mouth. And I love you so much out, and you mean so much to me in my life. You changed me a lot. And that's all I could think right now, because I was in a hurry. And this is
First time this is a great responsibility, Michael, but I'm not going to let you down.
God. Yeah, anyway, so he doesn't take anything seriously. He's working for money. He makes $9 million a year on his contract with the government. Alex Jones is what is called controlled opposition. And if you ever heard this expression before, they will lead all battles against them. Meaning they're going to prime his pump too. And he's going to take Jesse Ventura over to the Bohemian Grove because he can get in. Alex Jones is one of the members. And he was running around talking to... Alex Jones was talking to Jesse Ventura in that True video, conspiracy theory. And he was acting like he wasn't a part of it, but when asked, by Jesse Ventura, why would they do that?
Well, Governor, the problem is the Bilderberg Group and the secret societies, the Venetian royalty, are all taking over the country, and they're going to buy up everything and everyone and run our entire political structure into the ground.
Why would they do that?
Well, because while you're off surfing, Governor, in Mexico, they're secretly buying up every single congressional employee there are.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I mean, seriously. Hidden power. Secrets of the ultra elite. I mean, the guy is so completely gone, how could you even imagine him as a presidential candidate, let alone a surfer? It's like taking Mr. Cool, the surfer dude, and asking him some questions. Anyway, this has been just a nonstop effort to wake people up. And we're trying desperately to do that. A lot of you people who are guests, who are not interested in cheap sex behind some bathroom facility where you'll get AIDS, please come on in here and chat. He does a secret liver support pill. I didn't realize he's selling that too. Well, he wants you to believe that he's making money on the items he sells, the Berkey filters. He makes some money on that, but it's really the money that they're priming his pump with that gets Alex Jones to do things, and that's why he's unable to have a normal conversation on an election night.
You got my full...
Or a debate night.
...them in this fight, because, let me tell you something, the people we're fighting are evil, and they will be resisted, and there is a God in this universe.
Wow. Yeah, just sure. Well, let's ask another surfer what he thinks.
Oh, bro, it's just like, dude, you get the best barrels ever, dude. Just like you pull in and you just get spit right out of them. And you just drop in and just smack the lip. Whoop-ah! Drop down, snap, ah! And then after that, you just drop in, you just ride the barrel and get pitted.
It's like, whatever, Jesse Ventura.
unveils the deep secret conspiracy.
So they own all these people. Oh, hi, you're back.
Hi.
Welcome. Thanks for coming in. Sarah's here. She's going to give you a little time to talk while I grab some dinner.
Yes. That's awesome. I'm glad somebody made dinner.
Yeah. There's some dinner there if you want it later. So we talked a lot about things that we would never talk about with you here because we know that Sarah
because I'm not into conspiracy.
She's not into conspiracies.
I'm into the future. I'm about helping the planet and helping the future. Those are the two. Yeah. I guess if you boil it down, that's what it is helping the future, helping people.
Yeah, so we don't need to discuss the problems of corruption in the society with Sarah. We are aware that they exist, but even a president can't solve problems of corruption in society. All we can do is, like Sarah's saying, is trying to improve the situation going forward. So you have to have safeguards against corruption.
And they get pitted. That was pretty funny, Those with the Clown, that video where the guy is talking about getting pitted.
Yeah. This is the one. I played it just a second ago.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, it's just like, dude, you get the best barrels ever, dude.
Well, pow. Thanks for that clip. Scissorfight brought us some music called The Sea that he made. Let's listen to it.
This is pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scissorfight. It's nice and relaxing. Very nice.
All right, Sarah. Thank you for making it. I'll be back in just a little while. I got to do some things. Okay, I got starving fish to deal with.
Yeah, everything's good. It is quite cold out there. I will tell you. It's like there's this. I'm gonna turn it down just a bit. Oh no, it's good. There's definitely a winter chill in the air. I have to say, it's not raining yet, but it feels like it's on its way. Lone Patriot says, the president is the officer on duty. As such, he is responsible for all events that occur upon his watch, including corruption. True? Let's still focus on the future. I mean, yes, that's true, and you guys can argue about who should be prosecuted or about the things in the past or anything like that, but let's focus on the future. That's what I'm all about. You hope DT's neighbor, what? Neighbor comes over to your house or hers? California is on earthquake alert. Isn't that the case all the time? Or is there new evidence that they should be on extra high earthquake alert? Like, is someone predicted an earthquake that has predicted it before? No, obviously you can tell I didn't. And I didn't put in my press-on veneers, so oh well. Are you talking about Obama? It don't matter? Yeah. Is responsible for those things in the previous one as well. George W. Bush. Oh, you're talking about George Bush, yes. Yeah, I would probably say yes to that, Malco. So what's going on in the rest of the world? Oh, he's drunk on his inflated self-worth. Alright, I'm going to just check on what's going on in the rest of the world. Google News. I also like USA Today, and those are probably the two I look at. So, Google News. State Attorney General orders Trump Foundation to cease raising money in New York. Trump Foundation lacks the certification required for charities that solicit money. So the Trump's foundation may be crumbling. Interesting. Trump claims, I'm working for you now. I'm not working for Trump. He's got a huge political mess about his taxes. Yes. All right. You're so scared you want to cuddle? I'll cuddle with you. It's okay. There you go. It's all right. It'll be okay. Don't worry. All right. U.S. abandons their efforts to work with Russia on Syria. U.S.-Russia relations fell to a new post-Cold War low Monday as the Obama administration abandoned efforts to cooperate with Russia on ending the Syrian civil war and forming a common front. Oh, there's going to be a wiki document dump? Basket of deplorables? Where is that? When's that going to happen? Oh, and you know what I need to do? I need to open up my other chat rooms. I am so sorry if you're feeling like neglected. Like, doesn't anybody love me? I come over to iBlog and I try to get just some alone time with David. And he doesn't even watch my chat. My ignore list is empty. That's good. Where are you, David? Where are you, Sarah? I'm coming. Don't worry. I'm going to be there. Wait. Where is my live show? Is David casting on YouTube? What's the next question? Boom, boom, boom. Things that make you go, Alright, iVlog, YouTube, Vaughn Live. Alright, so now I have to, it's because I'm not signed in. I signed out yesterday. I'll be there. I like that song. Are you as thrifty as David, or do you like to shop? I am extremely thrifty, I have to say. More information will be available in your YouTube account, making it easier for you to review and control some new features to your Google account. Optional features for your account giving you more control of the data Google collects and how it's used, while allowing Google to show you more relevant data. When you're using Google services like search and YouTube, you generate data, things like what you searched for and videos you've watched. You can find and control that data within My Account under the Web and App Activity setting. With this change, this setting may also include browsing data from Chrome and activity from sites and apps that partner with Google, including those that show ads from Google. You have Chrome browsing history stored in your Google accounts. Learn more about how to turn off these settings. Google will use this information to make ads across the web more relevant to you. Google does not sell your personal information to anyone. You control the types of information they collect and use at My Account, myaccount.google.com. Alright, I agree. I have to say, I'm not that big on the whole diet poverty meals, but I eat them. Hello, Civies. What's up, super nerd? Hey, I only called you a super nerd because you called me a super nerd, and I think it's super cool to be a super nerd, so hopefully you take that as a compliment. All right. Hello, Karen Lynn. Oh, KGH. Okay, are you still here? Because otherwise I'm probably not gonna. It's like your comments make me not want to watch the YouTube chat. Hi Sarah, are you cold? I was a little cold earlier, but then I put on my awesome jacket and I'm not cold anymore. What a difference a jacket makes, am I right? I'm right. I know it. Alright. If Trump found breaks to not pay taxes, it means the middle class paid his taxes. Exactly. And then I was listening to the radio today and they were talking about how if he didn't pay taxes on, they said it's very rare for someone that is involved in the businesses that he's involved in to not pay taxes. Very rare for them to show that kind of deficit. The deficit that Trump did, so that was rather interesting. All right, what's this FBI director? Comey took millions from Clinton Foundation defense contractor? Wow. Yeah, he said, yeah, he had nearly $1 billion loss in 1995. That's what the release showed. And if he had that, what was going on for him to lose $1 billion? I mean, obviously, he loves debt. We're going to be in deeper debt with him at the helm. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I hope everyone wakes up and votes for David Sponheim rather than Trump. Whoa. On August 1st, people were carried out on stretchers after waiting in the heat for Clinton to show up. So here we have someone who's irresponsible with money, and then we have someone who's irresponsible with time. It's time to have someone who's responsible. Yeah, claiming bankruptcies and not paying taxes is true sign of a thief. Yeah, why would he be claiming he's losing money in the dot-com bubble in 95? I thought that crashed in... Okay, I guess that was a housing bubble in 08. Oh, yes, demoted to deputy.
Well, Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine are said to be courting Trump's base of...
So, whoa, the Clinton-Kaine rally was scheduled for 2:45. It didn't start until 4:20. So we're talking an hour and, well, 40 minutes or something like that. Hour 35, an hour and 35 minutes they had to wait. During that time, thousands of supporters endured temperatures in the high 80s while waiting outside Fort Hays Metropolitan Education Center in Columbus. Wow. And then once they waited an hour and 30 minutes, an hour and a half, she gave a speech about 21 minutes long, and he gave a speech, her running mate gave a speech that was 15 minutes long. Where does it say less than 5 hours to go? What? Boom, boom, 5? Yeah, you might be right, basket of deplorables. You say George Soros lost $1.5 billion in 6 months. Do you have information on that? Links or anything like that? Hello, Chris. Well, I was cold earlier, and then I put on my jacket, and now I'm not cold. I'm not toasty yet, though. If I was toasty, I'd take off my jacket. I'm waiting to get toasty. All right. I did want to read about this, about U.S. abandoning working with Russia. You wait 9 hours for Obama to land at Osan Air Force Base, but is that 9 hours after his scheduled arrival? Or is it like 9 hours to prepare for his scheduled arrival? Oh, he bet on the Brexit and lost? Oh, okay. Is this the Randy Jackson? Oh. I don't know if that's the Randy Jackson. This is a recast video. Sarah's watch is wrong time. My watch probably is the wrong time. My watch is off by 2 minutes, according to my... Oh, fixing it. Maybe I should set it to be a little fast. There we go. That was 1 minute fast. Oh my goodness. I can take it easy, demoted to deputy. How shall we take it easy? Shall we just relax? Breathe in through our nose, out through our mouth. Breathe in like you're breathing in a beautiful scented rose. Breathe out like you're breathing out birthday candles. Do you feel better? I feel better. Sarah, will you be watching the midnight announcement? No, I will be asleep. Unless it's midnight Eastern. Is it midnight Eastern time or midnight Pacific time? Dr. Meow thinks the only thing that could save us from World War III is that Putin wants to see the Justice League movie next year. Thus, he's not going to risk nuking Hollywood. Now, why doesn't he say, like, come and film it in Russia? I will pay the cast. Sarah, look how scary it is. Predicted path for Hurricane Matthew. I am doing very good, Mr. Dream. How are you? I did not see the black moon thingy. I was thinking of it and I didn't see it. Whoa, are you serious? So the predicted path for this hurricane is like right up Florida? Like, seriously? Holy moly. There was what they call a black moon. It basically means that there's two new moons in 1 month. There's supposed to be another one in October. That is pretty scary. So what happens after the top of Florida? I wonder if it just keeps going up the coast. He might. Can you remind him and give him a link, Bingo? Because if it's Eastern time, David will definitely be in the room. Okay, so try America's. Already try fan page address. Facebook.com/thirdparty is my page, my personal Facebook page, or my America's Third Party Facebook page, I guess. But that's mine. And then I guess groups/America's Third Party on Facebook. And then or just America's Third Party. I think that's David's. I have no idea what happened to the video, so why don't you check on our light sign. Hello, Karen Lynn. I'm so glad to see you. Sorry I didn't respond to you earlier. Thanks for hanging out over here at YouTube. If you need the address for our video chat show where we normally hang out, let me know and I will do that. Dr. Meow says the hurricane will touch down. Oh, let me show you guys all this predicted path of this hurricane. It is pretty scary.
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh, it's just, it's heading toward Florida. It's like heading toward Florida and going to take out, like, deluge all of Florida. The eye is heading right up.
It's
through
like
the center
Hurricane
of Florida.
Sandy, but worse. Remember Hurricane Sandy killed 100 people right before the election in 2012. This could very well take out a lot more than 100. Wow.
So Dr. Meow doesn't think there's going to be any damage on sea. He thinks when it hits southern Florida, it will be a Category 1.
He's the expert on everything, so.
And then he thinks it's going to head to the right, die in the sea. He doesn't. What's this one coming from? Some posting.
What big reveal are you talking about? Julian Assange is going to reveal the secret email that's going to take down Hillary? Is that the reveal you're talking about? Some people say Julian Assange has been taken out of the equation. I don't know.
RSOE.
Yeah, so Governor Scott declared a state of emergency to prepare for the Hurricane Matthew. I'm of the belief that Hurricane Sandy was created with artificial weather modification techniques right before the election of 2012. That's my personal belief. No other hurricane in the history of hurricanes has gone left into a prevailing wind besides Hurricane Sandy. And we know that we have the spaghetti patterns of this for over 200 years. Recorded movements of the air in that region.
This is for Halloween.
Oh, that's going to be good. Yeah, I'm going to be going into a Donald Trump mode on Halloween again, but more jacked up super satire. I don't think I could even compete with Alec Baldwin's job on Saturday Night Live last week, though. He did a great job of impersonating Donald Trump. That was very impressive.
Well, there's a 5 behind it.
It's a Hurricane 5 behind it, yeah. That's why it's going to be horrible. You know, it's coming off of Aruba, Haiti.
Oh, no, or that's where it was. It was a 5? I don't know.
They can do anything with it, though. If they want to turn this into a Category 5, they can kick up the juice, hit the phased array radar, triangulate it, and with the right chemical mix and the chemtrails above the sky, they could easily create a bigger hurricane. So it really, our hands are tied. We are stuck in this mode where the elitists who control the air we breathe virtually are about ready to do a number on humanity. And we're all going to watch it happen right before our eyes, and we'll be saying, oh, why didn't anyone do anything? How come they can't stop this? So we're all going to be looking back going, wow, why didn't I do more? I know I do enough, but I mean, if you're not trying to make people aware that the two parties are not going to help the American people out and split that vote, then you're not really helping, in my opinion. I don't think Donald is going to fix this country. He knows how to borrow money. That's all he knows how to do. I think Hillary is all about sucking up to corporate influence, and they're never going to solve this problem. They want to take your money. They want to make you sick. They want to put crap in your diet, GMOs in your food, fluoride in your water. They want you to come out with tumors and get into a medical situation where you lose your entire income and assets on a table in a hospital, and then your whole family has nothing. That's what they want. So we either think collectively right now and build this third party, or it's curtains for the human race, as far as I can see.
So there was a 2.0 earthquake in Northridge, California.
Yeah, I think Bill Clinton needs to answer to that illegitimate black sun. The small earthquake there, yeah.
What is the state based on? Is it Greenwich Mean Time?
Which Baja?
No, the state on this RSOI based on.
I don't know. No, I don't watch Trump speeches, and I don't watch Hillary speeches. She's been battling hecklers. One guy said that, went right in front of the newscast and said that Bill Clinton is a rapist, and the news staff laughed at the whole thing. We saw that earlier. Yeah, and the second man said it on TV. Check this out. You didn't see the first one, but watch this. So there's all kinds of things going on that are diversions. But, I mean, he really is...
Here, I'll scoot back.
I'm going to have to do this. Hang on.
In some of his business endeavors, but I think one of the things that we really need to be looking at in this day is that Bill Clinton is a rapist. Infowars.com. Bill Clinton's a rapist. Bill Clinton is a rapist.
Apparently this is an ongoing thing that's been making the waves on the media. It's probably coming out of Alex Jones, the idea of screaming this behind some camera. It's probably a vain attempt to try to peg, Hillary with Bill's personal problem. Yeah. A lot of reasons to be upset right now, but what's more upsetting is the fact that America has done nothing over the past few years to build this movement. And I'm not blaming any of you, because I know you're in there trying. And in your heart, you really want this third party to take off, but it's growing in slow-mo. And I told Sarah 5 or 6 years ago, I said, we need to have an exponential growth, and we have an arithmetic growth. Our line is like this. And we really need to go like that. So it's very much a word-of-mouth thing. We're trying to defy the censorship that's been going on in the mainstream media. And we're making progress, but it's got a critical mass. It's going to reach sometime in the future. We don't know when. I would not do anything for money. Bingo. I'm not like you guys. I'm not materialistic, so that's why I'm running for president. If I was really materialistic, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be a greeter at Walmart. I would have made $100,000 standing there going, "Hi, welcome to Walmart." It would have been great. There's, the riots in LA. You got to wonder, is this coming from George Soros? I don't have any advice for you other than to stay inside and to honor the curfew they put in. I was in the LA riots, but let's not forget George Soros was behind the Baltimore, the Ferguson St. Louis bomb, the riots, the whole thing is completely controlled. I don't believe these riots are real right now. Until you see gas shortages at every gas tank, I seriously don't think we're going to be facing riots. If there's gas shortages across the country, yes, we will see riots. If people can't get food, yes, we will see riots. But right now, riots are just probably paid events, purchased by MoveOn.org or some other organization.
Oh yeah, they say that the path for the hurricane is not going to go by Florida.
Oh,
I mean, it will go by Florida, but it won't.
You know, we've spent many an hour worrying about what's going to happen. There's a lot of people talking about the dollar dropping this week. Major crisis in the dollar. All the fear mongers on the internet put October as the critical mass for America. That something big was going to happen in October. It has been going on throughout the country. Now, it could be an assassination attempt. It could be a meltdown in the stock market, but that would have longer lasting effects. It could be an EMP. Some people are saying they've got an EMP option where they put us all in the dark ages with an electromagnetic pulse, shutting down all electricity. Then you would see rioting. But rioting now over issues like Black Lives Matter, I just don't believe that BLM is a terrorist group. I just don't. Until I can see real concrete evidence that this is happening. So, at this point, it's just some sort of a make-believe pre-apocalyptic civil crisis.
Yes, we're friends with England, and
yeah, we are.
The reason that we're friends with England is, I mean, being allies with England goes back a ways, basically to World War II.
Well, Sarah, thanks for coming in. I
Okay.
can give you a break later.
Thank
There's
you.
some dinner. There's egg noodles with organic egg noodles with clam sauce
Oh, nice.
from the East Coast, and they were all East Coast clams. I love clam pasta. It's one of those treats that we had occasionally. It's made with real butter, and this particular one was made with truffle oil. My sister went all out, and she made a little dinner for us tonight. Organic egg noodle, yeah, very good, yeah, clean, very good product, non-GMO, yeah. I don't have the ability to do trivia, bingo. Ask me any question, I should know the answer within a few seconds, but I can't answer trivia questions. I'm not a trivia person. I don't waste my brain for that purpose. I consider myself a fluid and interactive intelligent force. Something that is more likely able to solve problems instantaneously as opposed to respond to trivia questions like Ken Jennings did on Jeopardy. Assange got a phone call from Mossad agent. He's going to be gone. See, I told you. Told you, yeah. They're going to take Assange out of the equation before he gets a release. This will be like Breitbart. Remember in 2012 he had something really serious that would take Obama out of the equation? He ended up dying. You see, there's so much bad stuff at play here. For me to have a show and talk in a realistic way about every single corrupt thing happening in this country, it would be bombarding. You would be blasted with massive information. I don't eat truffles as children starve in the streets. I was simply having a little bit of truffle clam spaghetti. Now, we had a piece of internet video brought to us recently, and I want to see what this is. Some sort of a religious ceremony. Pastor Gas.
Watch this. For I have seen all that I've seen what Laban's done unto.
That's what I thought, yeah. I look like Ricky Martin hot tonight. Thanks, man. Well, as you know, we're trying to model my physical appearance around a character known as David Sponheim. Really amazing guy who's been doing this for 8 years and happens to be inside of this exoskeleton. You'll be in the morning in case Assange. No, well, I don't know if it breaks open that he has an email connecting her to the Chris Stevens death, which is, I assume, what they have. Then yeah, it'll be time to open up the show for a longer show, for sure. I mean, something like that would be earth-shaking. But frankly, I'm more concerned about the real problem of Donald Trump not making any money in '95. In fact, losing nearly $1 billion and not having to pay taxes over the past 18 years. If that's true, and we won't know until we see Donald Trump's tax returns, which he said he was going to present, and he never did, we're kind of on the line here. Yeah, the reveal that Clinton made a comment as Secretary of State, can't we just drone this guy, is an indicative of a very heartless, sociopathic personality type. Hillary trying to get rid of a guy who's revealing the military secrets was something many people do almost flippantly. You know, the Rosenbergs, when they were terminated, both of them, they were both executed for sharing the secrets of the nuclear bomb to Russia. And nobody would even think twice about them wanting to be executed. So when she said that about a guy releasing military secrets, it would be arguably the role of a Secretary of State. I'm not giving her pause on this one, but it does belie a deeper, more sociopathic nature, which is troubling. But a Secretary of State would easily ask the president, what are we going to do about this incredible espionage leak? It'd be arguable that she may have just wanted to deal with this. Yeah. Well, I like Assange and the fact that he leaked this information, but I'm also hesitant to believe he's 100% legit. He may be working for one of the ulterior motive people. There's a group of people that run stories through Roger Stone, the journalist that gets all the information from Julian Assange. And Roger Stone is a conduit for many people on the far right. So maybe the far right's not happy. I mean, look at George H.W. Bush. He's now endorsing Hillary. Our former president is now endorsing Hillary. So they're really reeling at this incredible problem. So if Assange is a guy who is working on the other side of that group to depose their power and their power structure, like the George W. Bush, Karl Rove type people, then Assange may very well be a player. And that's been my argument all along, that Assange will do anything for money. So it's going to really depend on what happens and what that leak's going to be. All right, so don't come in and post links that are threatening, because that is a felony. You will be charged. Oh, Ed finally got something special. A Maybelline facial cleanser. Thanks, Ed. Yeah, maybe the Bushes are liberals. The fact is they're both the same color of they're both brothers from another mother. I mean, they're both part of the Zionist one-party system. Trump's a Zionist and Hillary's a Zionist. They both work for the Illuminati, the Rothschilds. If you don't understand that, then please ask me any question. I'll be glad to answer that, because that literally is the definitive answer as to what's going on in our country. The two parties are acting as one. They have the missing 30,000 emails. Great. Well, go through them and find out the one incriminating her in the death of Chris Stevens, and you got yourself a slam dunk. You will be charged, yes. Zionism has become a wart on the face of the earth. It used to be a plan just to have a homeland for Israelis that were fleeing all the terrible death from the ethnic cleansing that went on in Germany. But now it's more likely the agenda, Agenda 2030 and Agenda 21, the global elitist agenda of New World Order control run by a small central family, a cabal, if you will. And that's why this country stands in the way of that. We're the only ones that can do this. We're the only ones that can interrupt their power structure and stop them right in their tracks. But you've got to believe this is possible. You've got to believe that your vote counts for something, not just a mindless Trump or a mindless Hillary vote. It's got to count for something meaningful. Yeah, so ISIS is fake. We've been saying that for 8 years, or it's actually been around since 2010. But for 6 years, this ISIS thing, it all started basically right around the time that Barack Obama released 5 known Taliban leaders that were in custody, that our men, our Marines had died for, and taken down in Fallujah and Mosul. They released these guys back into the role of being Taliban leaders, and then voila, ISIS was born again right around 2011. That's the story that you didn't hear in the news. 10 stages of genocide, police states that massively violate human rights. Yeah. Obama's a terrible person. He's bought off. He's done nothing as a president. In fact, he's cost us dearly with Obamacare. Even you Democrats are paying 30%, 40% more in your rates right now. Scissor Fight's entire YouTube channel was banned. Yeah, it was unreal. Scissor Fight's here to answer questions about that. Yeah, he played a video that is really, really good about the snorting that went on at the debate where Donald Trump was snorting. I counted 28 times. Well, that knocked him right off the internet, playing that video. And all kinds of other people are talking about the snorting too. We're not the only one. Well, I have a tested IQ above that, but it doesn't matter. Intelligence is not the point. What we need to do is just communicate. I could be beyond brilliance if I wasn't able to communicate. What's the point? Okay, so Julian Assange is a distraction, a bipedal Panama paper kind of move. Samizdat made his point. Thank you. No, I can't reach YouTube. Yeah. No, I've not gone on Jeopardy. I'm not into trivia. So you emailed YouTube 5 times, Scissor Fight, and there's still no answer. This is what censorship is, folks. They shut down anybody trying to get any accountability from these people. I'm telling you, we'd only have this one opportunity, a third party, to stop this incredible censorship, the incredible abuse of power going on in the country, police state, the brutality, all of the horrible things that are coming are all going to be executed through the two-party system. If you build a third party, we will be interrupting the power structure, and the Illuminati will no longer have the ability to impose forced vaccinations on you. RFID chipping of the population, which is part of their agenda. Pollution beyond your wildest dreams, continuing and getting even worse by far with chemtrails, literally spraying us like insects. Or the possibility of our water is tainted with fluoride and other toxins that want to kill us, they want to give us tumors. So the reason these problems are not getting addressed is because the two-party system is in place. That's plain and simple. Now I could talk off the charts on how evil Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton are. But they themselves are just figureheads of an even bigger problem. The corruption that has plagued our nation, that has turned our young people into a bunch of blithering idiots seeking cheap sex in our chat room right now. You see that one? I just banned them. Yeah, it's like nobody seems to have any clue as to what's going on, so everyone's grabbing some cheap thrills while they can. That's not guidance, that's not leadership, and you cannot tell me Obama did a good job. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't sound like we're making any progress. I hate to tell you Democrats that. All right, here they come again. They're like hordes of the Walking Dead here. They don't even know it, but they're going to get AIDS in a couple weeks.
Beautiful Zion, we're marching upward to Zion. The beautiful
there you go. We're marching to Zion. I've never heard that before. We'll have to check it out. Yeah, so a lot of you just want the AIDS, and you're going to get the AIDS, but this is something that, yeah, they're trying to actually keep my guest chat off, so they succeed when they do that. You see, this is what the deal is. It's slowly shutting me down and preventing people from talking and chatting in the room. So is anybody thrilled with blogtv.ca, or is it kind of like a passé thing that they're going to be starting pretty soon? Has anybody kind of passed on the blogtv.ca thing, or has it lost its momentum? Well, I've heard many Christian songs, bingo. Bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves, we shall go rejoicing, bringing in the sheeple. So bringing in the sheeple, come on in. We're going to hang out, talk. All right, let's see what this is turning into. Trump's tax discussion. He's made comments. He said, and I quote, Donald Trump said, "I have a responsibility to pay as little as tax as legally possible." Well, that's his responsibility. He's got a lifetime of doing that. And it shows from his 1995 tax return that he didn't make a lot of money at all. So where is his money coming from? And the answer is the Russian mobs. All those businesses that buy condos, that like to have their, secret places to hang out and bring ladies from Eastern Europe into our country. You think I'm kidding? He's got immigrants that have come in here on green cards that weren't even legal, and they've admitted it, just to work as a dancer. This guy, I'm telling you, is at the core of all the corruption that is entering our country. And he wants to be our president. Can you imagine? It's like the wolf guiding the hen house and going, I'm just another hen. Woe is me. And then snorting the whole time. I couldn't believe it. I gotta see this again. I gotta get a little snort action. I'm missing my snort action. I don't snort coke. I've never snorted anything. But I can tell you that the sound of his snorts are just absolutely phenomenal. I can see why it's a hot thing to discuss. The Trump Snort Ensemble.
Wait. Wait.
Thank you for that, Scissors. Scissor Fight did an incredible job of cutting through those videos and pulling up those snorting sounds. It's just amazing. Okay. Yeah, if you take a shot, you're actually getting injected with Roundup, or the product that's in Roundup, glyphosate. Hey, let me show you the deal I got on this tie today. I had a lot of flack earlier for having the Conspiracy Monday tie has been traditionally this, and things have gotten so dark that it finally reached the end of its road. It may be back again someday, but Providence had come my way at Walmart. We were shopping, and we walked by a clearance rack sale of this silk tie made by George. George, the famous clothing company that sells at Walmart. And we paid $1. Isn't that amazing? So thank you, George, for saving the day with a new tie. Oh, you have a new one. Oh, I want to check this out. Thank you. Excellent. So you built a second channel, and you're out there uploading, and you're doing everything you can to stay positive. You want to see the Secret Society speech by JFK? Oh, wow. Okay, so he did a full hour of the snorting. Excellent. Good. Excellent. This will be great background music for clubs and gatherings where people are snorting. You could see a bunch of people at parties just playing in the background, the sound of the Trump snort. A lot of people will be snorting all over the place. Snorting will be the new thing, I think. And I'm going to pay special homage to snorting on Halloween. I'm doing a special snorting episode. It's going to be all about snorting all the way up until the election. I'm excited about it. Yes. JFK's Secret Society speech. Yeah, that's a good speech. I should play a little of that so that at least you get a taste of what it was like to have a real president who cared instead of being run by thugs like we currently have in our country? My fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Remarks of the President to the American Newspaper Publishers Association, Waldorf Astoria Hotel, New York City, April 27, 1961.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate very much your generous invitation to be here tonight. You bear heavy responsibilities these days, and the article I read some time ago reminded me of how particularly heavily the burdens of present-day events bear upon your profession. You may remember that in 1851, the New York Herald Tribune, under the sponsorship and publishing of Horace Greeley, employed as its London correspondent an obscure journalist by the name of Karl Marx. We are told that foreign correspondent Marx, stone broke, and with a family ill and undernourished, constantly appealed to Greeley and managing editor Charles Dana for an increase in his munificent salary of $5 per installment, a salary which he and Ingalls ungratefully labeled as the lousiest petty bourgeois cheating. But when all his financial appeals were refused, Marx looked around for other means of livelihood and fame, eventually terminating his relationship with the Tribune and devoting his talents full-time to the cause that would bequeath to the world the seeds of Leninism, Stalinism, revolution, and the Cold War. If only this capitalistic New York newspaper had... Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of election, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his, for from that scrutiny comes understanding.
Wait.
So we got a full 1 hour of snorting. You notice I never said that this is about cocaine, but every time I say the word snorting, you think it's about cocaine. Howard Dean asked the big question, cocaine, question mark? I never said that. I'm very careful to not slander a person unless I know for sure this guy has got a sniffle problem. Now, there was no mention of his having a cold 1 day after this, 2 days after this. Then I started talking about him having a cold and why he's not tweeting about it. And now somebody finally comes in the room and said, oh, didn't you know that it's a known fact? Donald Trump had a cold. Isn't this unreal? How the media warps everything. Thank you, Scissor Fight. I really appreciate this. He's pissed. He had his entire channel taken away with nearly 1,000 subscribers.
Is that censorship?
It sure is. Wait. He had a simple video cut of all the snorts that were in this campaign that Donald Trump was doing. He was snorting 28 times the entire.
Did Donald take him off?
We don't know, but somebody took Scissor Fight off of the air and he had to rebuild his entire account.
Scissor Fight. Guess what? I've given you an address.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that later.
And I got an offer in line.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Things are looking up.
But nothing's for sure.
This has got to be like a temporary reprieve right now where we get the quietness. Thank you for giving us a little intermission from the snorting. So this is going to go viral. You can only imagine how the snorting songs will hit the clubs and everyone will be snorting behind the scenes, listening to the snorting of what appears to be the biggest corporate pig who doesn't pay hardly any taxes and won't even reveal his taxes now, running for office as a Republican. Why isn't that's got to be the sweetest. That's like poetry. You know, the Republicans pick the most corrupt corporate pig to run for president. They hadn't had. I thought Mitt Romney was one of the worst with Bain Capital and the whole incredible takedown of all these companies and the firing of U.S. employees. But you look at Mitt Romney; he's like an angel compared to the demon we know as Trump. You didn't know? He's got over 60 people he never paid. I got testimony from a woman who did a catering job. A full testimony online of a woman doing a catering job for Trump, and he didn't pay her at all, when he was married to Marla Maples. Yeah, I'll show it to you. Hey, Karen Lynn. Karen Lynn is in. Hello. It's because most people are scared to stand up for what is right. Thank you, Karen. Pearls of wisdom there. Good point. Most people just won't stand up, and they say that evil persists when good men sit down and do nothing. Well, I'm not doing nothing. I'm a good man. I'm not going to sit there and watch our country getting turned into a couple of 1%ers trying to vie for control, especially without a fight. Now, they can censor me all they want, but we're being broadcast all over the world by people bumping our signal on UHF channels, and I appreciate you international viewers tremendously. Okay, let me see if I can pull up that document. Unfortunately, it wasn't categorized based on the caterer herself. Yeah. Let me do a general search. Thank you, Salon. Okay, here it is. Reportedly used campaign donations. A new report revealed that self-proclaimed king of debt has been. Oh, this is good. Okay. He stiffed her for $432. Wow, I didn't even know this story existed. He stifted her 432,000. I didn't even read this story until now. Let's take a look. Donald Trump reportedly used campaign donations to pay himself $8.2 million. Wow, this is from Vanity Fair. I have not even seen this link. This is the first time I saw it. I'll play it for you. Hello? What? No. It's playing with me. You don't like Vanity Fair? Seriously. It's worth looking at. They're a very established magazine. Take a look. As befitting a man who laughs in the face of impropriety, Donald Trump does not particularly care about the optics of using his campaign to boost his own business. In 2000, he told an interviewer that he could be the first presidential candidate to run and make money on it. A prediction he would fulfill 15 years later as he promoted at various times steaks, bottled water, golf courses, and famously, a media bait and switch, his new hotel in Washington, D.C. Wow. Yeah, according to the report, the money has gone toward paying his office rent off his own building. $8.2 million has been gone to $544,000 on food and facilities. This is a real interesting article. This is right out of the chute, coming from Vanity Fair. Okay, let me look for the other article later about the caterer. Yeah, we don't have that right now, but we played it the other night on our show, and she was jilted. She couldn't believe it. He wouldn't pay her at all. And her testimony was like shocking. All right, so we've got other people talking in the chat room. We've kept guest chat out. We don't want to shut it off completely, so I want to keep people rolling in and thinking that we will open the line up and get people to talk. Al-Qaeda on the rise in Syria. Oh, you know, the Syrian battle that's been going on, Ed, we're not really that involved in a problem that doesn't really affect us. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if the people in our show really care that much about the politics of starting a war in Syria. Poverty down, World Bank, yeah, we know the crash could happen at any time. 1 in 10 people still live on less than $1.90 per day. Now that's a good story. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it. You know, Connie doesn't really want to come in and talk to her fans because she's not part of our show. She does cameo appearances on occasion, but it's not like a regular thing. Okay, World Bank, poverty down, definitely not out. I don't buy this story either. Yeah. The very fact that U.S. News and World Report is saying poverty is down, it begs of propaganda. Poverty is poverty wherever we see it. It's constantly growing. It's a problem that never goes away. We need to get to the bottom of it. I'm not going to start a war, but I can tell you we will start the cleanup process of the war makers and the financiers and the monetary leaders that finance war. It's about stopping the corruption. My campaign is not about seeding war and starting economic hits on countries. That's Hillary and Donald's campaign. I don't want to submit more troops to the Middle East. I will subtract troops from the Middle East. That's my promise. They've got the guy arrested, bingo. The guy in our local area who was living in our area that allegedly killed 5 people over at a mall. They've got him arrested. I have not seen the actual death certificates of any of the decedents yet. And I don't know if they're being posted online like they're supposed to be. In order to file homicide charges against them, they have to post the death certificates of the people. So a lot of us are still processing this to see how many people died, exactly who they were, what was the nature of the shot, the kill shot. You know, just hearing information is not enough. The entire media is so controllable that it could be filtered right through a fake storyline through the AP. Speaking of that, are you aware that the AP was actually a Nazi propaganda news agency under Adolf Hitler? And it's now the overwhelming authority on news feeds around the world now? Yeah, you need to realize that the Nazis were not killed during the German takeover. We beat the Germans in World War II and the Japanese, but we didn't stop the Nazis. They'd already seated themselves here in the United States. You're a chauvinist? Oh, okay. And a misogynist? Wow. Well, the conspiracy theory is that in the 1930s, the Nazis embedded themselves in our government, and they started agencies like the IRS, a private corporation, and the CIA. They merged the OSS, Office of Strategic Services, over to the CIA. So 1936 was a pivotal year for our country. I mean, we developed a nation collection agency we never had before. We developed a secret agency that acted on its own within its own parameters with very little oversight. So in a way, it could arguably be true, especially considering when you look at the Bush family. Their grandfather, Prescott Bush, was caught money laundering for Adolf Hitler in the 1930s, and he was charged with a crime by J. Edgar Hoover. So Prescott Bush was definitely not a clean slate. When we got the Bush brothers, or the father and the son as presidents, we got a big dose of Nazism right there. So these people are in direct control of our government right now. I hate to shake your bubble and freak you out, but these thugs have been running our country ever since they blew John F. Kennedy's head off. Well, if you're looking at the Fourth Reich, you're mistaken. What you're seeing right now is the final solution. Way worse than the Fourth Reich. You're seeing the slow degradation of our environment, the slow boil of the frogs, and we're the frogs. And if you aren't scared by this, and I honestly am scared by the idea of being carted away and sent to FEMA camps, they could implement that easily under Trump or Clinton. Yeah. Either one could easily implement a concept where we have a pandemic and they force herd inoculate the population, and if you in any way go against them, they'll charge you with a crime and they'll arrest you. Either way, they'll RFID chip you. So we are on the verge of what is called the final solution, Hitler's final solution. And if you don't recognize that we're being forced to play right into their hand because they're embedded in our government. Even the Department of Homeland Security was started on the precept that we were attacked by foreigners, by some foreign terrorist organization somehow run by a mastermind named Osama bin Laden, which never panned out. We never had solid information on that. So they created the false flag event, which killed 3,000 people. You think they're going to care about killing 300 million people? I mean, seriously, they're willing to kill hundreds of thousands of people at the drop of a hat. Why do you think they'd stop at just 3,000 people? So you have to understand, we're right on the verge of being taken over from within. And this third party effort by America's Third Party, by Sarah and I, has been, on my part, a challenge to their authority and their ability to control the media. And they've used their power to censor us dramatically. It's affected us in a great way. But the story continues. It keeps wrapping back. And people realize that what JFK said right before he died, before that fateful day when he got his head blown off, was what he was trying to do to help us realize these people are embedded right now in our government. Through covert means. That was the time when our country lost the greatest president we could have at that time. And it was a sad day for America. The last thing we want to do is continue in this pathway without interruption. But we're on track to do just that. Continue in this pathway without interruption. You saw a guy from Donald Trump's camp seeking information about me? I wouldn't doubt it. Thank you for telling me psychobehavior. It's pretty weird stuff. Yeah, I just thought I'd bring out a fourth mic. Good, it's gone. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't want that cam anyway. Good. The Monday Show is about me convincing you that the elitists who have all the money in the world could easily replace you with a computer or a robot eventually, and have every reason to get rid of us, 90% of the population. And they put these plans in place many years ago. That's the subject of tonight's show. Jackson took 8 refreshes to get into the channel tonight. We are being censored so hard on this show. So we don't want to see what happened with John F. Kennedy repeat itself. So that's one of the reasons why Sarah and I don't take wild trips out there in Dangerland.
Well, 402, I know where your other broadcasting one, but this is usually the primary one where you're typing now. Okay.
I got rid of it. Just confusing matters.
Oh, right, Zellfire, that's true.
Okay. Let me move this over.
A local sheriff's race? Okay. You can take a break if you want.
Yeah, I'm going to take a little break. I need it. But I just went into a long diatribe about how people really have to be aware that these people have all this money. They don't need workers anymore like they used to. They could keep us happy with bread and circuses all they want, but they really don't need humanity to drain the resources that they themselves want to own. Now, instead of creating more fresh water, they would rather convince us all that we need to depopulate. Now, you and I aren't having kids. We've obviously been brainwashed into, programmed into not wanting kids, or for whatever personal reasons we don't want kids. But the reality is they themselves, these elitists, really do want to have total ownership of the world. They don't need 90% of the population. So they've openly stated that to the world itself, and they've even got people saying that the world's too populated, we got to get rid of people. So all these mindless Democrats kind of think Hillary's right on, and they really want to, get rid of as many people through whatever means possible, because that'll help the world. I mean, you can only imagine the sheeple or the lemmings heading off into the death centers, just like they talked about in the movie Soylent Green, played by Charlton Heston and Edward G. Robinson, in which Edward G. Robinson walked into a death center because they offered this service, and then as he was dying, he saw the most beautiful things, and it was a great experience, and he really wanted it. It reminded me a little bit of Agenda 21. I've lived a good life. It's an advertising for Agenda 21. And this guy, Edward G. Robinson, was then put on a gurney and went into a conveyor belt where his body was turned into the very food that people were eating in cracker form, called Soylent Green. And Charlton Heston realized all this at the end of the movie, and it was like, whoa, people are Soylent Green. People are food. And it was the weirdest thing, is like biofuel. And it's almost like our world is heading in that direction. And I don't want that. And that's why I'm running against the Democrats. The Democrats have been a complete waste case, completely corporate suck-ups, every one of them. And they've turned into a basket full of money whores who just get reelected every cycle and don't do anything. All they do is spend and tax. So you know for a fact he's bald? Well, I'm not, thankfully. I try to take good care of my hair. I'll be back.
Okay.
And I did wear this tie tonight. Thank you. You suggested it.
Oh, I think it looks good on you.
Well, I think so too.
I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah, well, I think the other ties kind of reached the end of the run.
Yeah, the movie called Soylent Green?
Yeah, it was Soylent Green, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a movie called Soylent Green. Of course, you and I might be a little too young to have ever watched the movie. I am. I have to admit, I've never watched the movie. You think I'm an expert Walmart shopper? I'm an expert shopper. Yeah, sure. Okay. I find those dollar ties. That makes me an expert Walmart shopper. They were right in front of the store. Yeah, I have to agree. No, I haven't, 396. Thanks for sharing. High school boys soccer team forfeits because they're afraid to lose to girls. Really? What? Oh, well. I was just reading a book called Mighty Jackie, the Strikeout Queen by Marissa Moss. And it talks about a girl who struck out Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, and maybe another famous baseball player too. Biography, so it might be based on a true story. I took off the down jacket that I had on underneath this, so it's one of those things. No, 871, David wants the exact opposite of that. David does believe in mobile medical units, but that's not a death ban. That's mobile medical unit is in order to provide health care to more people, especially people that might not be able to get to a hospital or things like that. Well, I don't doubt it, Meta-Nemesis. I'm sure he was very involved with many people. Sarah's opinion on the revelation that Hillary is bald. Maybe that makes sense with David saying she's two different people. Maybe she just went back to the hotel room and put on a different wig. I don't know. Do I know who Jenny Finch is? She struck out a bunch of major leaguers like Albert Pujols. I had not heard of Jenny Finch. Thank you, Raleigh Toad, for telling me that. Sarah, will you be staffing the mobile medical unit back door where marijuana sales transactions will occur? No, I probably won't be working on the mobile medical unit. I will probably be working on the creating the mobile medical unit, making sure it's stocked with what it needs and things like that. So Congress wraps up 1 month's work in 1 day to keep the government running. Yay. I just, you know what, well, I won't say what I think. Congress can always contact me and find out what I think. I have a really great idea for you guys. I know some of you are not going to agree with me, but it's a really good idea. You can contact me. AmericasThirdParty@gmail.com. 707-YOUR-ATP. And congressional members, you can call me and I will tell you my plan. All right. Well, thank you for your opinion, Raleigh Toad. I appreciate that, and people are welcome to vote for whoever they choose. Oh, is that who that is, 615? I did not know. Google bald Hillary Clinton and I will see you're not lying. David is a fantastic person wherever he is. Do I really want to do that? Google bald Hillary Clinton? I have to say I don't really want to. Sarah, when are you going to start taking live calls when David's taking a break? I'm not sure, Zelfire. I'm not sure. I will say next year. How about that? Next year. Oh, is that you know who? All right. Thank you, 615. Who would you guys tap for Secretary of the Interior? I haven't decided yet, but because I have Department of Agriculture, I have someone in mind. But Department of Interior, I haven't decided. Actually, it would probably be possibly my sister. I don't know. We'd have to look at all of those different things. I bet there are 163. Are there any pictures of me with a bald head? I think I would look pretty good bald. Let me see. Pretty good. She's a soil scientist. My sister's a soil scientist. True, Sammy's that be true. Alright, let me see. Karen, Lynn, sorry. It's because most people are scared to stand up for what's right. True. So much easier to reason. 317, give me a call when you read this. 317-99424. Consider that I'm calling you. That's what I was going to ask. If you could call me, I'm easy to reason with. I like reason. I like answering questions. I didn't think that was a legitimate question, 214. I thought that was some kind of innuendo. I am still here, 317-99424. Is there a topic? I will talk about anything you would like to talk about. Well, within reason. Hey, how have you been, Graybeard? It's nice to touch base. You've been here we've known each other on and off for many years now. Would I go to Mars on a one trip, like a one-way trip, are you saying? If you could live out your life good, live well? Oh, you're looking for our phone number? Well, just know, Graybeard, I don't take calls, though. But I'll give it to you. 707-YOURATP. Rally Toad? Well, I know you've been coming in asking, Sarah, don't you remember me? For about the last year, but possibly I'm thinking that you've been coming here for much longer than that. I don't want to offend you if I don't say how long you've been coming here, because I'm sure you've been a very long time supporter. How about that? Every day is conspiracy day. Ha 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 ha. Yes. Well, I like first names. Okay, hello. Okay, I'm going to put you on speaker.
Send a voicemail. Press 2.
Hello, 'tis I, Graybeard.
Hello, Sarah. Okay, great. Real quick, I won't take up a lot of your time. Just finished this really educational thing on YouTube about World War I.
Ooh.
How much it looks so much like what's going on right now. It's like the last 100 years has just been a spread out World War I. So
right.
Go on set.
Did you tell me about this yesterday, or was that somebody else?
I did.
You did. It was you. Okay. And is it youtube.com/user/World War I is the name of the channel?
I can get you I'll get you the YouTube link. I think it's The Great War is what they're calling the series.
Yeah, because that one doesn't work.
I looked for that. What I wanted to tell you is that at that time, after listening to several hours of these 10-minute shows, the socialism and communism developed out of the monarchy. Out of the monarchy, socialism and communism were formed as opposition to monarchies.
That makes sense. Yes.
At that time, the idea was the rights of the people superseded the rights of these monarchists.
Right.
Okay? Now,
Yep.
what I wanted to make mention is that it seems like most of our education starts from World War II. We really don't see the backdrop to World War II in World War I because we're not taught World War I.
Right.
And I just, when David puts down socialism and communism has never existed in government form. It never has. It was a parliamentarian dictatorship. It was never truly communist.
Yeah, the only thing that may have existed is small communes. Nothing has existed. Right. Communism, I think communism has never existed on a massive scale, as big as a country.
In fact, the family unit is the best example of communism.
Right.
If you think about it, we all work as a team. We share what we have. That's the idea of a communal or communism thing.
Like in the word community starts from that. Yep.
Okay. But they were anti-monarch movements. And then capitalism came in. And after listening to this thing on World War I, I've come up with a new definition of capitalism.
Okay, go ahead. What's your new definition?
Any ism is about, like, nationalism is all about the nation. Socialism is all about the society. Capitalism is all about money. It's not
Absolutely.
about, it's not about, it's total corporate greed.
Yes.
Is what capitalism is. We've always had trade. You know,
I mean,
I've always had, I'll trade you so many of my rabbit pelts for so many of your chopped up pile of wood. We've always had trade. That's not capitalism. Capitalism is pure, unadulterated, unrestrained greed. And watching this thing from World War I, this is a new conclusion that I came to just listening to the reasons why all these things happened. Capitalism backed World War II because it was they backed the anti-communist forces in Europe between World War I and World War II.
So World War I, you say, what do you think was a defining, obviously the defining push for World War II, a lot of that was a push for capitalism.
World War I was not the war to end all wars. It was the war to end all monarchies. And if you look at it, bring up a Google, monarchies of Europe, they all, but like 3 of them, end at 1918. And the ones that don't end get parliaments. 1918 was the end of monarchy in Europe because of World War I.
Wow.
Because the people were so outraged that there were battles where they were losing 40,000 men a day just being mowed down by machine guns.
Wow. So there's a question that came in the room. Would you describe Microsoft and Bill Gates as greedy or pure capitalism? Well, you kind of define both of those as synonymous, correct?
Let me put it this way. We have the ability in this society to determine when you have lost the game of incorporation, and when you've lost the game of capitalism, you go bankrupt. You've lost. But we don't have a win. We need to have a point at which we say, and I'm just throwing a number out there, you have made $100 million. You win. You have to quit. Go live your life. Go on vacation. See the world. Tend to your family. You win. That's it. You don't need to own everything in the world.
Right.
Pass it on to the next guy. You win. We don't have an end game. It's just more and more
and more
and more greed.
Yep.
And
so,
Behavior
says, Behavior's a chat room, a person in another chat room, and he says Bill Gates and his wife are donating their wealth toward fighting diseases in undeveloped nations. So he kind of has, in Behavior's mind, he's kind of put a limit on his own wealth in a way, insofar as like that he is trying to, donate time and things like that. So
that's great. I'm not so much, I don't know Bill Gates' specific situation. What I'm referring to are corporations who keep having to buy everything. They want to own every corporate. They want to control the stock market. We have corporations who literally control other countries. They have so much money, they can go in there, and if they can't buy off the government, they'll support a rebel group to fight the government, like what we're doing in Syria. And if you look at it, this all started, if you go back to when there were pirates.
Yeah.
Remember how
pirates and Vikings and things like that?
No, not pirates.
Okay.
We had governments of Spain and England who paid privateers to go raid the other countries' merchant vessels. We had pirates that were commissioned by, what was her name?
Ferdinand and
Mary,
Isabel.
Scots, Queen Elizabeth I, back in the 1700s.
Yep.
Okay, Spain did the same thing. France did the same thing. They were government-sanctioned terrorists on the high seas. They were paid for and approved by the governments and set them out. And when those governments made peace, they didn't need the pirates anymore. Then they went after the pirates. Okay, same thing. We have government-sponsored terrorism against another country. And it went on in World War I. It went on in World War II, and it's still going on. And America, with its vast wealth, literally forms armies. I mean, we have, what is that name of that army we have here? Z or Chi or whatever that private army is.
Oh, are you talking about the one that was, whatever, Blackwater?
XI?
Yeah, I think it's X
And
something.
then they changed the name to XI?
Yeah,
something?
but it was Blackwater at one point, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
There's proof that there is money out there that can literally buy small military units.
Well, actually, have you seen Zeitgeist or Zeitgeist Addendum?
I've watched a lot of the Zeitgeist. I'm not up to date if there's any new ones.
No, but I would say that kind of movement shows that the entire monetary system is kind of based on a false premise. Is based on debt. So the entire thing about, people going into debt or anything like that, it's just there will always be debt, I will have to say.
But yeah, we live I mean, even our money says it's not valued. It used to be paper money had value.
Right. You used to be able to change it into silver or gold, yeah.
Of debt.
Yep.
And it says so right on it. It's an instrument of debt.
Yep. Yep.
It says so. And
yes.
yet we blindly look at it like it's worth something.
Yes. Well, it's as valuable as people put value into it. I mean, if people are willing to work for that, then it has value. If people are willing to acknowledge it as as an exchange of medium, then it has value. If people don't want to, if people get tired and say, I'm not going to work for a piece of paper, then it would lose its value. No, I've never said that 914. But yeah.
In comparative to how money used to be worth gold and silver. It used to be worth
right. But even gold and silver is really really it's an element.
Today it's backed by oil.
Right. You could definitely argue that. That's true. I mean, we.
And then they'll even say, we have a petro economy or petro-backed.
No.
You have to have dollars to buy oil.
Right.
So in a way, it could be argued that it's backed by oil, not gold anymore.
Okay, so there's a user in here who would like your opinion of your opinion about George Soros. Have you done any research on him, and what do you think about him?
I don't. I know the name. That's it.
Okay, so
keep up with all the crooks.
yeah, I'm trying
to thrive.
Yeah. Oh, there's a really good video called "Thrive Movement." By the way, it's interesting. I'll say that. Interesting.
Anyway, I would not want to take up too much of your evening. I'm thankful that you even took my call.
Good.
But I wanted to pass that information on about expanding yours and David's scope back to World War I and really seeing where all this happened. Because, in my opinion, World War I was encouraged by capitalism. We'll put it that way. I won't say American, but it was encouraged because now that you have governments and you can buy people to do things to make your corporation, more profitable. In the old days with monarchies, they had honor. You couldn't buy them off.
Right.
Theoretically.
Exactly.
Okay.
Theoretically,
anyway,
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
To the Great War on YouTube.
Okay.
Thank you very much for taking my call, and you have a good night.
Thank you so much. Good night. I actually gave a mini lesson today on a little history lesson, which was passed down to me by an awesome English teacher. So it was really that there are two ways to say almost every single word in English. And it goes back to the fact that before Britain became an imperialist nation, that people would go and fight and take over Britain. And at first there was German came in and took over, and the Germans ruled for a while, and the kings and queens were of German descent in England. And then France sent soldiers into Britain, and there was a big war, and they took over Britain at that time. And so then the Germans were actually became the servants for the French rulers. And so it's sometimes they see people that speak English sometimes see the words that derive from Germany they see as crass and of a lower worth than the words that derive from France. It's kind of interesting, but anyway, so I said that there's two ways to say almost every word in English. So, like, think of the word that describes the water inside your mouth. What word is that? All right. Well, he can always email us, and he has our phone number, 707-YOUR-ATP. No, that originates in your mouth, the real Trump. The water that originates in your mouth. Okay, so 1189 says spit. That is one way to say the word. And the word spit actually derives from German. And saliva is correct as the second way to say the word. And saliva derives from French. So it's kind of interesting. So Graybeard, I wasn't able to get the link because you have to sign in to post links, unfortunately. If you could get the username of who created the video, then maybe I can find him that way. So anyway, that was just, it's kind of a little interesting tidbit of information. Yes, millennials need a safe place. Oh, I got it. This link starts with number 1. All right, got it. Thank you so much. And I can listen to them in order. No. Okay. Okay, all right, I got it. You're so confused. What are you confused about, 396? Oh, in 20th century America. Like the 1900s and usually early 1900s. I will open this. And then it'll be up to David to actually... So, oh, the user's the Great War, it's called. Okay, cool. So I'm going to pause this, and then that's cool. And they're just like 10-minute clips, and they're awesome. That sounds very cool. Nice. Maybe David will play that for you all tonight. Who was the caller? It's a long-time watcher. Previous caller, Graybeard. All right, maybe, let's see. All right. No, it started playing and now... There we go. Oh, you like collard greens, which are kind of like spinach. They're a Swiss chard is another way. They're very similar to that. They're like a vegetable that grows, and you can cook them. You could boil them, or you could fry them, or you can eat them with like oil and butter. That's what collard greens are. So very good. Yes, Mad Dog. I thought he has a kid. Don't you have a kid, Mad Dog? You were saying. You're like, Sarah, give a shout out to my kid. My child. But I forgot. You have a biracial daughter. Yes. Okay. Yes. All right. Yeah, you were telling me that. And she lives in a different state than you. Obama Kenesha. Kenesha is your daughter. I take it you had no, and she lives in Detroit, and I take it you had no say in her name. Obama Kenesha. All right. Okay, so we actually have done some research on George Soros. I think David would say that he thinks that Soros is kind of trying to control things. I have a different opinion on, and that would be a negative. I have a different opinion on Soros. I'm not in favor of the New World Order, but anyway, I'll say that much. I do think that he probably sees things on a bigger chessboard than some people. That's what my opinion is. You think Bob Dole is going to save the Republic? I think David Sponheim is. Some people say George Soros is trying to push a new world order. I think he did mention a new... Well, no, that was Henry Kissinger. It's interesting to me that George Soros is often involved in... He's involved in pushing democratic ideals. You write in David Sponheim. That's who you write on the ballot. Thank you for asking, 674. If you want to find out more information about David Sponheim, you can go to AmericasThirdParty.com. Well, why can't he just get your vote, Rally Toad? I'm just asking for your vote. I did try to push for ballot access. It's a lot. We would have to get 1 million signatures in California, for instance. And that's just California. Well, my last name is Hart. So... Okay. Everyone will vote for Sponheim when WikiLeaks exposes Hillary tonight. 398, I hope you're right. Please do post that on the WikiLeaks exposure. Everyone should vote for David Sponheim. But there's a place to put comments. The first one, without the E. Rally Toad, thank you for writing. Thanks for asking. Oh, that's sweet. Well, I know they claim that they base it on poll results, but how do they include everyone in the poll? How do they choose people to be in the poll? No, Rally Toad. Unfortunately, I wish there was. That would be called instant runoff voting. And I so wish that they had instant runoff voting. But unfortunately, it doesn't. They have what's called first past the poll voting in Washington, in the United States, rather than instant runoff voting. I think if they had instant runoff voting, it would be a huge win for the people, and especially for third parties. See, I like that idea of open society, so... You guys keep picking on DT Allura. I'm gonna just start having to mute you. Purge. 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 Yes, I would like to push for instant runoff voting if I were president or vice president. Purge, binge, purge, yes. All right. Purge. Okay, Sammy's dead. What do I smell like? I smell like skin. I smell clean. That's about it. All right. My hair will be smelling like Infusium 23 later tonight. Why am I wearing a parka indoors? I just am. 885. I like it. Oh, thank you. Okay. All right. Well, did someone call me a freak? Maybe. A full and fair discussion is essential to democracy. That's a Soros quote. Open Society. He has philanthropic organization, the Open Societies Foundation, which supports democracy and human rights in more than 100 countries. See that whole... What, do people think it's a front, what he's saying? I don't understand. I don't have a favorite brand of shampoo, per se, but I do have a favorite brand of conditioner. And I'm running out, so I need to go buy some more. It's called Infusium 23. But I think I'm going to try... I might not do Infusium 23 yet. Well, I should stick to that tonight. But I'm going to be switching over to Garnier Fructis. Are you talking about Soros, Jackson? Do you think he's a freak? Or who are you saying? Or are you saying Anne Freak, the chatter in the chat room? All right. BGS Love, I'm going to go check YouTube. Alright, nobody's there or saying it. Oh, okay, thank you. No, David's not lost. He's just eating dinner. That's not good, 674, because what happens is that it becomes sticky and then you can't comb out your hair and then she'll start pulling out her hair and then when that happens, then once everything pulls out, then you have a girlfriend with no hair. It's not smart. All right.
Okay, I'm here to relieve you. So you had a phone call from somebody, huh?
Yeah.
Who was it?
It's a person that was recommending videos.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the videos. It's all about World War I, and he said they're very good. So the outbreak of World War I, how Europe spiraled into the Great War. And they're like 10-minute videos, and there's 114 videos. And they said they're just really well done, and he was saying that and it's also it's 3179942.
3179942. Thank you. Well, cool.
So,
I'm glad we
anyway.
find out about World War I because we're still catching up on some of the older wars, trying to figure out why we are in a situation where we're still at war. Maybe we can learn from history. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the reasons I think we are where we are today is we don't learn from history.
Yeah, I think it's important to learn from history.
You know, one thing we can learn from history is that we don't learn from history. That's kind of a loop that we go on.
I did not agree with that, Rally Toad. I believe David is the candidate, and I support him wholeheartedly.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to be running for president every single election cycle. It gets fun. Real Man is going to be 50 today? Wow, Real Man. Excellent. Congratulations.
Happy birthday
big 5-0.
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, real man. Happy birthday to you.
So yeah, we're kind of really appreciating the fact that a lot of people want a third party. That's one of the positive things about what we do now.
50 is over the hill, you think?
I don't think 50 is even getting into middle age now.
Yeah.
Not with all the amazing new advances in gerontology. You know, when I found out that if I stopped eating a lot, I'll live longer, I kind of cut back on my calories. When I found out that hard sugar is really bad for you, I cut it back on hard sugar, and then I realized that corn syrup is killing people, causing tumors in laboratory animals because of the genetically modified ingredients.
He's there. You can wave at him and talk to him, Dave. He's right there.
No, I'm glad. Yeah, I didn't want to make this thing a big issue.
But he's right there to
Tell
say
him.
hello. If you want him to say.
No, anybody knows. Anybody. Yeah, I'm content with everything.
Do you want me to give
No,
you
I'm
a-
good.
If you're both good, that's fine.
I'm good. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mad Dog. I defend my right to do blackface and say the word colored. Yeah. I can't believe what this country's come to with all the political correctness that is being forced down everybody's throats. There's no law that says that you have to be politically correct. There's nothing in the Constitution that says you have to be politically correct. So the collectivists or / communists Hillary represents, and the fascists / national socialists that Donald represents, they want the rights of the individual to take second to the collective will. Yeah. Great one. Yeah, there you go. One of the great radio personalities of all times did a fantastic outro of his feelings about the country called If I Were the Devil. And I'd play it for you, but my internet's pretty slow here. Paul Harvey. That's the way it is. If I were the devil, I'd turn everyone into social rejects. I'd turn the entire country into demoralized masturbators. If I were the devil.
If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around.
You know, the music is just a little loud for that one particular one. I love the music. I mean, perfect placement, but you have to have beatbox headphones on and ready to lose your eardrums. And once you have that going for you, then you... So the word twink came up in the show because we got a lot of people in here who are promoting their sexual hookups because somebody... Oh, I just unmuted you. I needed to mute you. I was incorrect. Okay, well, I'm going to let you speak. Thank you. They are being abusive, but you wouldn't even be able to say that if I just turned guest chat off. You see that? 3 a.m., we're waiting on the Assange thing. We'll be in at 12 midnight to talk about the 3 a.m. Eastern Time release coming up. Yeah, isn't this amazing? How people... And these are the millennials that are more like the Walking Dead, walking around waiting to die. Yeah, so they come in here and they're like posting these statements. Very horny gay Latino man. I just... Wow. It is an effective tool, I'll tell you. Hitting me from all sides. Putting that in the 4chan room was a really big plan to shut me down, man. Gun shows customers' license plates come under scrutiny. So people are going to gun shows are being harassed, harassed, harassed. Here we go. Gun show customers' license plates come under scrutiny. Federal agents have persuaded police officers to scan license plates to gather information about gun show customers. Government emails show raising questions about how officials monitor constitutionally protected activity. So true, yeah. That's been a problem. Well, this has been going on ever since the free speech movement. The FBI has been harassing people by going out and checking their license plates. I met a bunch of people on the island here that were looking to find out how to avoid the draft. A lot of people were concerned about that. And we got a visit from one of the ACLU people that came to the island, and he said that he was in the free speech movement, and he saw this happening all the time. He said they frequently go to parking lots and check all the license plates of everybody in a parking lot at a rally. It's like total intimidation, preventing freedom of speech, preventing freedom of political activity. And the government's doing this, so it's not uncommon. No, I'm still very much on an island that's kind of in the middle of all this. We are the eyes and ears of the electronic surveillance of the entire Pacific Ocean out here. These guys are top notch. We got Top Guns coming in here, flying these jets over my house. We're kind of the central artery, or the primary artery leading to the heart of our national defenses. So yeah, I'm very much concerned about our nation's security. And I'm also aware that this island is pivotal to its strength as a nation. So I'm kind of right in the vortex of the vortex. I like the fact that this is a Navy town. I don't mind having a lot of people around here working at the Navy. I think it's great. But I don't think we need a selective service signing of a document. I don't think we need a draft. I think we can start moving away from that. Yeah, you're in the Navy now. But the reality is the draft has not been used since it started in its inception. I signed the selective service documents in '83. I was more than willing to. But at the same time, I didn't want to go off to fight foreign wars, and look at what we've had. Operation Desert Shield, Operation Desert Storm, all the involvement in Afghanistan. It's just crazy how many things we've been doing, and it's just ironic that all of this is about maintaining a power structure for the rich. And America is the richest country, but we're by no means the richest individuals in our country. Donald Trump is a pauper compared to the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds own simply beyond your wildest imagination. They owned 160 banks worldwide. Yeah, they have over $200 trillion in assets. Donald Trump couldn't even sell ice lemonade outside of the Rothschild house. He would be in there with the help. Somehow I feel like the power of the rich people doesn't quite piss you off as much as it does me. I don't know why that is. It's like, well, what do you do? They own the world. Death and taxes, death and taxes. What you gotta do? So maybe we've all been programmed to accept the fact that we're paupers in a world full of the rich, the very few rich that rule the roost and run political science, run the entire political structure. Maybe I would like to have the guests in. I would like to have relevant conversations with people. That's how it's always been, Dave. Whoa. See how fast I am. Fast to the trigger. I know, not everyone's a piece of crap. Y'all need a wall between the U.S. and Canada? I don't think so. You are hereby muted. You will be imputed and purged if you continue. No, I don't think. Oh, you're not a piece of crap. No, you're just a warm turd. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to denigrate you. I'd be a denigrator. I wouldn't want to do that. Laura and I are not drinking together anymore. Yeah, and you talk about Ann. Ann's always talking about ass. Jackson, that's not cool, but thank you. One is enough. If you want to do the Sponheim thing, that's cool, because I'm going to be bringing the Can't Stop Because We Won't Stop dance in here any minute now. Yes.
We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't.
So let's be clear. In this coming election year, please vote for David Sponheim, America's third party.
Sponheim for president.
Don't forget, I'm the king of debt. I love debt. Debt prevented. Don't forget, I'm the king of debt. I love debt.
We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, 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 and we won't stop.
In this coming election year, please vote for David Sponheim, America's third party.
Wow. Okay. Let's just ask ourselves a big question. Why would I be doing this for 8 years? 8 years since this video took place, if I didn't think that this was the most important thing I needed to do right now. You're getting pitted, man, watching me dance? Wow. Well, back in 2008, with only 50 days under my belt of doing the show 10 hours a day, like we do today, 9 hours a day we do a show, I was out there pitching how to run a write-in campaign, and we are still doing the same thing over and over again. We're not going to stop either.
Hi, good morning. As you can see, I'm still wearing the shirt I wore last night and yesterday at Blog TV. It's exhilarating to do Blog TV. We've been having an incredible time. This is in fact day 54. I thought yesterday was day 54, but we did a recount, and we determined that today is day 54 as we approach the election. And as your potential write-in candidate, David John Sponheim, I'm here to show you my my hybrid electric vehicle. It's not a plug-in hybrid. That's something I want to build at the U.S. Auto Corporation that I want you, the people, to own. Check out this vehicle. Isn't that a beautiful car? Everywhere we go, we get looks. One of the reasons people look at us is we get about 60 miles per gallon.
All right, so I've been doing this. I'm still driving the same car, and I love it. And that car has been a fantastic vehicle. I mean, I've had it 10 years, and it's like I just bought it. I keep it in mint condition. And I'm really, really glad. I bought a brand new battery pack for it, so it runs fantastic. It's got good acceleration. It gets 55 miles per gallon. All right, we're going to take a look at the moon anomalies that have been kind of weighing on people who just don't believe that we landed on the moon. They look at this stuff and they really believe that there's some problems with the telemetry here. Something is not right. There is a situation where, there we go, the flag right here is blowing in the wind, and there is no wind on the moon. Be blowing in the wind. They blowing in the wind. Yeah, Apollo 17, 15, and 14 all had flags blowing in the wind. So you got to ask yourself, why is that if they had no wind? Well, I've been doing this for 8 years. I'm proud of something. You know, the fact that I've done this every night, total transparency, running for the presidency every single night. I mean, who's done that, man? There's not a soul on this planet who's done what I've done. I can blow I Love Lucy off the map with the most continuous shows live. They only had 5 weeks. I've had 8 years of solid shows every night. Never fail. You ran for president of your college rugby club, and that's kind of cool. So a lot of you are so completely brain dead, you don't even care if we didn't land on the moon. I've lost concern about the fact that they lied to us about landing on the moon. The fact is we couldn't even get out of the atmosphere. There's a large belt around the planet. It's called the Van Allen belt. And the Van Allen belt is the evidence that the telltale evidence. I don't need to know what it's made out of. Wind blows anything around, whether it's metal, plastic, or a thread. Wind will blow things. The argument that it's plastic and it's got an auto movement feature is ridiculous. I've read that. It's absurd. Yeah, it's a BS Snopes bull cover for the real truth. So the only real credible pictures we have of the moon are from the side. There are no real pictures of, the Earth. There are no real pictures of the Earth in its entirety. I know that sounds as a shock. It was a big shock to me when I heard about it. But there's lots of side shots of the Earth, like these. And that's because they've never been to the moon. It was 238,000 miles away. They could barely get the rockets to push the space shuttle into the atmosphere. So we've got a problem with the entire moon landing thing as well. They didn't have enough fuel to land on the moon and get back and then pierce through these Van Allen belts. And I'll show you these Van Allen belts in just a second. Seconds up. I could Google them faster than this. This is an interesting picture. Some people think this is an artistic rendition of the Earth off of the moon. As you can see, there's no lights. Oh, but they have a reason for that. They said it was set in high contrast. There's a reason there's no lights in this picture. Miss Diane Truthful? I don't think we need to do that. There's a photometry about the staged moon landing. I don't want to do the photometries. No. I just want to do the Van Allen belts for you here. Here we go. The Earth is essentially covered by this massive radiation belt that nothing can get through. And when Nixon wanted to be known as a really, really cool candidate, he came out with this thing called fulfilling John F. Kennedy's greatest wishes. You see, Nixon was kind of guilty because he was kind of in on the JFK assassination. He was complicit, much like LBJ. They were all in on it. So he wanted to create this idea that we could get to the moon and back. So even though we can't get out of these Van Allen belts, and the only credible picture of the moon is actually artistically drawn by NASA, of the Earth, is artistically drawn by NASA. Well, here are the Van Allen belts. Thank you. When I least wanted them. These things completely cover the outside of the Earth. And that image you're looking at right there is called the blue. Hang on. Blue marble. The blue marble is an absolutely beautiful artistic rendition of the Earth as seen from an artist's perspective. But the real Earth may not even look like this. I'm sorry to say, but the real Earth may very well be kind of a lumpy, off-shapen, misshapen thing. So when you look at the real Earth shape from the perspective of what we might know it to be, some people are pontificating that this is the real Earth. Which is kind of weird, isn't it? It freaks me out too, just imagining it not being perfectly spherical. So this isn't the first conspiracy theory that the moon landing was a fake. It's one of the many. And you got radiation update, starts in T-2. We're not here to support Jeff Rentz right now. Thanks, Samizdat. I thought I was talking. Do you just want to interrupt the show to go listen to a radiation warning or a solar eclipse warning? I mean, seriously. Whatever. Yeah, the Earth is thought to be pear-shaped, not spherical, yeah. So all of this is coming as a huge shock to a lot of you. No, the Earth is not flat. No. No, that's a psyops. That's actually called Operation Shoot the Moon. Operation Shoot the Moon started a few years ago. It's a government psyops to make you boring. You people absolutely, who are not questioning anything, somehow believe that the Earth is flat. And not only can you not, most of you not in any way imagine what it's like beyond the moon. I mean, we know that the universe is infinite. You've heard Carl Sagan talking about the infinite universe. And you've got Star Wars representatives of, all kinds of fantastic things. Science fiction is wonderful. It really is. It helps you kind of make leaps and bounds of thought. But I must tell you that the infinite universe is far more infinite than anyone could even imagine. And the idea that the Earth is flat is so infinitesimal. The idea would occupy a small brain cell in a crack addict who probably can't even think beyond his mother's purse where he's going to get another $20 bill. So they're catering to these brain-dead people who believe in that. Seriously. Now, there are a lot of people that believe in Planet Nibiru. Here's an example of that right here.
Okay, so here I am out here in September, and as you can see, there's obviously a really very clear planet that is right north of the sun. And wow, I would love to say it was the moon, but since the moon happens to be right here on the opposite side, there's no way it is. And since we all have been taught in school that Mercury and Venus do not show up, oh, just look at that planet just beaming and shining right now. Somebody tell me what it is. Thank you.
What
Those
it
of
is.
you who have followed my channel over the years would realise
What it is. Tell me what it is. It is the infinite universe. All right, so when you're looking deep into the infinite universe, you know that there's life outside of this planet. I believe there's life outside the planet. I think it'd be very safe to say that there's life outside the planet, simply because the mathematics speaks in favor of it. Drake equation is used to determine the infinite possibilities of life outside of our planet. So yeah, we know 100% there is life outside of our planet. Question is, are these reptiles? Are these aliens? Are these boogeymen? The answer is, well, with 5.4 billion camera phones on the planet, we don't have any copy or any photograph of an alien. Yet the government's been pursuing this idea about aliens. They've been pursuing it all along because they don't want us to look at the real problems facing our country. They don't want us to look at the environment and dangers. They don't want us to take a look at the health hazards of radiation coming from Fukushima. They don't want us to ask questions at all, so they'd rather you fixate on flat earths and aliens. And that's called the alien agenda. And that was proposed by a great conspiracy theorist named William Cooper. You can dispute the math with a couple of PhD mathematicians. Thanks, Dr. Meow. You can do that on the side. You must know people at your college that you've never graduated from. But they want to divert your attention from the real truth, which is these greedy people who've created these secret societies, this one is called the 9/11, the Order of the Garter, have one intention, and that is to dominate this planet. If they have to tell you we landed on the moon, let them. They simply want to give you whatever it takes, feed you lies, left and right, put you in a prison of your own miscommunication and false thinking, turn you into a digital corpse, if you will, locked in time and space, wondering what the heck's up. There I am. This is me, the analog to digital Dave. That's right. That's my analog to digital conversion. So instead of we look at the problem of the environment, wasting electricity, wasting energy, focusing on building up our resilience, our drought protection, against all odds, infinite odds of an infinite universe, they would rather we just focused on nonsense and talked about dribble. So these are the people running the world. 9/11, the Order of the Garter, is one of the richest conglomerations of European royalty there is. And if they're not pulling the shots, who else would be pulling the shots? These include the Rothschilds. They have ownership of much of Europe. So as you can see, this art piece that was craftily done by NASA may not have actually been completed on board a vehicle on the moon. And that theory has a lot of merit. Okay, so what do you want to talk about? Because they've got all these news stories spinning about Hillary Clinton being a clone, possible robot. Maybe there's more than one Hillary. That's one thing we could talk about. Donald's tax returns showing that he's clearly losing money and borrowing massive amounts, like I've been saying for the past 6 years. Lots of things to talk about tonight. No, he never claimed that the Illuminati and aliens were in cahoots with the U.S. government. If you study his work, you'd see that he was discussing. He later recanted. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you very much for that clarification. Appreciate it. Yeah, so let's take a look at some clone pictures, possibly. There is a clone of Hillary. Pretty sure this was a clone. She looks like that woman, Evelyn Barnhart, rather. It's not Hillary. She did a little Ellen DeGeneres thing. She's a little bit shorter than Hillary. Here she is early on when she first met Hillary a long time ago. I don't think she's the same. I mean, that looked like her in that picture. But the woman at the debates really does look like Hillary. I mean, she kind of pulled it off. I don't know how we would think otherwise. Somehow she went from spewing up green phlegm and getting some pneumonia so bad that she was falling out of the 9/11 event, collapsing into the van. Here she is, her body barely functional. They said she was turning blue. And then she came out swinging just about 6 days later, or 7 days later. Or 10 days later. Yeah. It's gross. She's getting help, so she's getting up and around. But when she gets in front of the camera, she is ready to go. She must be taking like a super bioenergy drink or something. It must be like the ultimate bioenergy drink, or maybe vitamin B12 shot or something. But yeah, she appeared to be the legitimate, real Hillary. I was quite shocked. And there were no twitches and no indications of Parkinson's. That was the real one there. Yeah, she's pretty old. Yeah. So you think there's a fake one that's almost identical to her? That's my question. Because we know that this double came out of the woodwork just 90 minutes after she went into that van. This one appeared. And I like to say, oh yeah, they're before and after pictures, but take a look at these things. Look up close and realize that this is a... thank you. A different nose. It's a different nose. I just took this section of her face, and this woman looks more Jewish. The after picture. Now, Hillary is half Jewish. We know from her ancestry that she's related to the Jewish on her father's side. But look at that nose right there. The nose right there. I can't really quite get it in the picture without blocking the other one. There we go. All right. You see the line on that nose? Yeah. I'd say a possible clone. So then I did some work analyzing the hand. So they took those two hands of Hillary and Hillary 2, Hillary 1, Hillary 2. And this is what came out. And this is what makes me think that she's cloned. And I don't mind talking about this on Conspiracy Monday because that's what I like to talk about. It certainly makes me happy. Yes. EPA plans to allow unlimited dumping of fracking wastewater in the Gulf of Mexico. Wow. Why does that not surprise me? Okay, so we're going to look at the hand now. Zooming in on the hand of the imposter who was jumped right out at Hillary's apartment, looking great. 90 minutes later, he met some little girl out in front of her. Okay, we'll try that again. And then you zoom in on the hand of one of her pictures of the same hand and compare the hands. And we'll zoom in on that. Take just a second. I'll reload the browser. I'm going to put those two hands up identical to each other. And they're not identical. They're different completely. And a scar is the most serious different indication. Okay, zooming in on both of those hands, getting nice and close. Close in. Zoom as close as we can, line it all up, and then we're going to take a look at something. Okay, now this is the part that got me thinking. This is the part that really got me thinking. Taking a look at this, I noticed the lines were similar. So I took a pen and I outlined it like I'll do now. Grabbing a pen. Oh, I am a person who's open to conspiracies. Yeah, I'll talk about them. I'm the only presidential candidate who'll do it. Missing something?
My shoes in there.
No, I put your shoes on the box out there.
Oh, yeah.
Now take a look. If this is a different person based on that scar, which clearly is, but look at the lining. These lines are significant. I'm going to make these significant for you to look at. There's a little V pattern here. There's a V pattern here. Now, these patterns, these long lines, you can see remnants of this on this hand too. Now, I looked at Sarah's hand. Sarah's hand and my hand are totally different than these lines. And these lines are almost identical. But they're just different. So then you have to ask yourself, well, if this is the case, and this is indeed somebody who looks just like Hillary, then we really have a clone on our hands. Yeah. She popped right out, just like there was nothing, no big deal. She completely popped out of the woodwork and acted like she was feeling great. And you know she could barely get into that van, so something is not right with Hillary.
Another thing is she might have changed her wig.
Might have changed her wig?
Yeah, people are saying that Hillary is bald.
Well, say she did change her wig. But it doesn't explain why that woman that popped out has a scar on her, literally on her hand, that never existed before in any other photograph. And yet the lines in her hand are very similar. I have to say clone. I have to. And the reason why I have to say clone is the first clone was Dolly. Dolly the clone. And let me show you the date on that. Dolly the sheep was a female domesticated sheep and the first mammal cloned from an adult somatic cell. She was cloned by Sir Ian Wilmot and Keith Campbell at the Roslin Institute in Edinburgh. She was born in 1996. So we really are looking at 20 years of technology that could have happened in that time period, or what led up to the cloning technology, which was another 20 years. Now, that was Sarah talking to me. I'm going to say that that's the weirdest anomaly of this entire series of events, aside from the pneumonia, aside from the alleged Parkinson's, which she clearly has. I really believe that if she's under drugs and she's under control and she's able to speak in front of an audience, she's out there, like she was in the debate. If she's not able to do that, she makes an appearance with her clone. Yeah. It's not that preposterous to think that she may have a clone. So I'm just going to go out there and say that. I still believe it's entirely possible. I'm not speaking about something that's magical and mystical, and I'm not talking about Frankenstein. I'm talking about cloning. It's real. It's being done. It's well into the 20th year of development. I mean, come on. Get real. She's clearly been cloned. So I'm going to presume that Hillary's been cloned. And Donald has been owned. So Hillary was cloned. Donald is owned. And I say that because the next few pictures I'm going to play for you at the beginning of the video hour really is something I want to repeat over and over again. ABC did a really good job of revealing what happened with Donald and the Russians, and how he's completely flipped on his relationship, talking about his relationship with the Russians. The Russian involvement with Donald puts him at great national security risk for our country. Yep. Hillary was cloned, Donald is owned. That'll be our campaign slogan. Sure, why not? It matters to me. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, the deal is that the Dolly was born when Dolly was cloned, she was cloned exactly like she was. She didn't have an early stage. She grew to be an adult right away. She grew in utero to be an adult sheep. She didn't go through a baby stage. The clone literally will grow to whatever stage Hillary was cloned. So the reason why the clone looked younger than Hillary is because that's when the cloning was first achieved. Probably 15 years ago they started working on it. Yeah. Close to cloning. I know. So the possibility that she's cloned is, I think, I'm going to put it at 80%. Based on that evidence I just presented to you. It's more than enough to convict in this case. I wish I had this much evidence that her email behavior was an egregious act against humanity. There's so many cover-ups within the email scandal, like Jim Comey and the FBI, the director of the FBI giving her a pass, Loretta Lynch, who should be prosecuting her on the emails. But tonight, we're supposedly at around 12 midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern Time, Julian Assange is going to release a bombshell of information about Hillary. Oh yeah, David Rockefeller has a new heart. Yep. Henry Kissinger is 93. Yeah, all of these people are doing really well with blood transfusions and everything. New World Order. It's already been done. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Thank you for coming in, man. Yeah, so we've got a guy, New World Order, who really understands this concern that we've had, and we've done this show, Conspiracy Monday, for years now, talking about these things. But here's a video, Scissor Fight Unearthed, about cloning. Thank you, Scissor Fight. Proof she never survived 9/11. Wow. Which clone is Hillary? That's an even more interesting conspiracy theory, isn't it? There's 3 of them out there. Cool. We've got that to go to right away. Right after the Donald Trump little ditty. So we're going to be doing kind of like solid Donald Trump and Hillary backgrounds for the next 35 days. As you make your decision about voting either for me, writing my name in, or voting for Donald or Hillary. Or any of the other third-party candidates that obviously are shills. They're going to play reruns of Assange? Yeah, probably. I'm clicking on that right now. Oh, it's an InfoWars Alex Jones channel? Yeah. All right, well, I'm open to playing a few different things tonight. I normally don't play Alex Jones because he is owned. He's a shill for the New World Order. He's the very COINTELPRO he's warning you about.
When he talks about how you're going to be put on the red list or the blue list, he's already on the list. He is the list. When you dial in on InfoWars or Prison Planet, all of your information is double-checked with the cookie monster that goes right into your computer and starts harvesting information for the New World Order.
Yeah, he's a total controlled opposition guy. Thank you. Well, I can do a lot of people. Okay, so we've come to the end of this segment. We started up with Truth Tuesday tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And these shows go full 9 hours. They'll be playing movies all the way till 2 in the morning tonight. So thank you again for coming in. The beat goes on. We'll be opening up guest chat into the evening, so you'll be able to come in and chat politically. We didn't do it earlier because of the attack from 4chan on this weird gay site that they put us on. They're posting our link all around the globe on weird, gay, perverted sites to try to shut us down. It's just one of the many tactics they're using. They're getting a little more creative. Really? You do shots to Henry? It's really a new world order. Henry has a... don't do shots now, Jackson. You're clean and sober. This guy's got a lot of playlists. I wonder what he's got. Oh my God. Sarah clicked on this guy. I don't know what she was doing there. 52 people watching on the AJ YouTube page. Well, there's more people here because, believe it or not, we are broadcast all over the globe, and we're bypassing the censorship. You're 267 days. Excellent, man. Right on. I had a little bit of a beer last 2 weeks ago because I just tried something different for my system. And I've never been a drinker, so I was very hesitant to do that, just one beer. But all work and no play makes. But that I'm just telling myself, if you do have a drinking problem, you can't touch that. You can't even make little short things with yourself, saying, oh, it's just one beer, you know. Trump bashing Clinton, Donald Trump mocks Hillary Clinton. Okay. 34 seconds of that. Wow, okay, we'll kick this off then. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. We'll see you tomorrow. And keep the faith, man. This country is really in a very close race between two very corrupt people. And the real people, the real Americans, have been kept out of the mix since the death of our great president, John F. Kennedy. That fateful day when he had his head blown off. Yeah. Truly one of the greatest presidents at this moment in history. He took a first shot to his body. You can see that. And then whatever happened after that was the end for our great president. And you know, everyone that I knew back then, and I was 2 years old when this happened, everyone that I knew that lost John F. Kennedy, everybody around us were so very sad. It was unbelievable, the sadness that had taken over our country. I can't even put the sadness in words if I were to frame it and talk about it. But it really was the beginning of the thuggery that we have today that's led us to this horrible election with the two worst possible people running for president. It's unbelievable. But here we are. All right. That's it. That's all she wrote. And that's the way it is.